What's good? What's good? What's good? Am I good in live? I think people were complaining about audio issues last time. Man, I haven't even ate like a meal today. It's been busy. Yeah, a couple things I want to talk about, but I think y'all are coming in. Let's see. Can't even tell if I'm online right now. I think so. Chat. There it is. There it is. Early. What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? All right, where you guys tuning in from? Canada? This title goes crazy. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Happy Friday, as they say, right, in the corporate world. I remember that when I used to work in tech sales. Every Friday meeting, it was Happy Friday. Or when it was Wednesday, it'll be like, oh, can't wait till Friday. 2 more sleeps till Friday. Man, fuck that. Fuck that. I hated that. I don't know. It was just kind of like depressing in a way, no? I mean, no, like I'm not like, oh wow, we shouldn't celebrate like the weekend or anything like that. It was just kind of like, I don't know. It always had like a depressing vibe to it. It's Monday. Oh, you know how it goes. It's Monday. I don't know. I don't wanna do that. Did you ever get a new mic or is this the same one? No. I mean, how am I sounding? It's crispy, no? It's a new mic. It's the new mic that I've been using for all my videos. I feel like it sounds a lot better. I feel like if I'm gonna do a voiceover, I can't be pulling up with the shitty mic, you know? You just posted a video about trans athletes. Whilst no trans athletes are competing in the Olympics, you aren't the future. You got too greedy for clicks. Alex, I'm actually really glad that you brought that up because I think that's actually what I wanted to talk about. I think I should delete that video because I got something misconstrued. Because since I looked into it, that's not the truth, right? Um, so yeah, I wanted to ask you guys what you guys thought. That's actually part of the reason why I titled it this way. Is if I'm gonna say shit like that, right? I need to say it on business too. If I fuck up, I'll admit it. I just literally have not had time. My editor is also in Australia. He probably just woke up. It's like 8 a.m. for him on a Saturday. But yeah, that is something that I also want to talk about because if I want to be the future, if I'm getting shit wrong, then I gotta admit that, right? I'll always admit that. So, let's see here. Yeah, so I want to talk about that too, Alex. Appreciate it. Seriously, I always want people to call me out if that's the case. Wait, Alex, where'd your comment go? Am I tripping? Did I not see that? Yo, brother, big fan. You put out some quality. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. So yeah, where y'all tuning in from? I can't tell if my chat is late. You guys are just busy because it's a Friday. Oh no, I see it. I see it. Where are y'all tuning in from? I'm in Austin, Texas. Super fucking nice out. Yeah, nothing was deleted. Yeah. Switzerland, Zurich. Hi from Morocco. Morocco. You guys beat the shit out of the US today in the Olympics and in soccer or football. Southeast Asia, it's so early here. Welcome. Good morning. Finland, Woke, California, Canada, Ottawa, Houston, Texas. Love it. We got Texas in here. For some reason, I was stuck in the premiere screen. Also, New York, Argentina. Wow. Latina lover, huh? I'm from North Korea. Good for you. That's crazy. You're getting signal out there. 10 a.m. Australia, Japan. Oh shit! I'll be in Japan in all of October. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for y'all to come trickle in. How many viewers are we at right now? I see 40, 44, something like that. Daytona Beach. Hi from Cambodia. Look at how goddamn like international our audience is. Love the content. Keep it up. Appreciate it, Morocco. Appreciate it. Morocco got some ballers out there, man. Getting into a new generation of media. Yeah, I want to talk about that, guys. I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about that. I'm sicker than Kim Jong Un's laptop. Good for you, bro. New York City, man. New York City, best city in America. So you're gonna report on Olympics, like stuff about anti-sex beds, some controversy like wrong anthem or anything else. I don't know. At this point too, and look, I'm fucking guilty of it. I feel like we're just trying to find controversy in anything, especially the Olympics. So who gives a fuck about the beds? I think they even did that like last Olympics too. It's like I think it is to kind of discourage people from fucking. But I don't know. I'm also like, why would you also not give these athletes like good beds? People want to fuck, they're gonna fuck. You know what I mean? And ultimately, like they shouldn't come at the expense of their athletic performance. What do you think about the Olympics opening ceremony? I guess I will talk about that. I thought that was kind of weird. I thought that was kind of weird. It's like, okay, here's my thing, right? Here's my thing with it. So I want to like make it clear that I know this is already kind of like late news, but like I think that I want to make it consistent, right? Ultimately, anytime I'll just say this. I think people who are extremely highly sexual, whether you're straight, whether you're homosexual, whatever it might be, are annoying. You know, like all love to you, always express yourself, all that. But what I'm trying to say is that anytime you're like that super straight guy that's always like, yo, bro, I fuck so many chicks, or, you know, if you're kind of just like being super obnoxious with it, that's annoying. So what I'm getting to with it when it comes to the Olympics is there's a time and place for that, right? Like if you want to have the parades, I don't think, you know, especially if you're going to be super sexual, I don't think, you know, kids should be around. I mean, I think ultimately it's just weird because I think with the Olympics, right, it's like literally for the world, right? People from all over the world are watching, from all different backgrounds, religions, ethnicities. I just don't think, you know, do you have to do something like this? Kind of making it a little bit sexual, kind of sexualizing, especially, you know, a lot of people who are Christian are offended by it. I just don't think this is just like the time and place for it. Like, sure, like, you know, if you want to do this in an art exhibit or maybe even a gay parade or whatever it might be, I just think that with, you know, if we're going to talk about brand friendliness, do we need to have drag, which is, you know, has always sexual kind of connotations in the opening ceremony? And also, you know, I guess disrespecting maybe a religion. I think now they're saying that that it wasn't like mocking the Last Supper or something, and it was more so kind of like a Greek last Diocese or something like that they were kind of emulating. But you know, I think they're lying. I don't know. I just don't think this is the place to do something like that. I think that's just all I'll say. I don't know. What do y'all think? Yeah, why does the Olympic have? That's what I'm saying, man. Like, have you guys seen, like, for example, like the Beijing Olympics? Like, this was like 2008, and this is like I remember this especially too because, you know, 2008. I think I was only what 11 or something. So it's like one of the first like Olympics that I really like remember, right? Like, this is cool. It's like showing off the culture. I mean, it looks like extremely dystopian and like very Chinese. Um, but like this, oh my god, like look at that. That's like some shit you see in your nightmares. But still, right? Like it's cool. It's like it's showing their culture. Like, why didn't they do something like that for the French? The French have a rich culture, right? They're known culinary wise. They're good at soccer, that's for sure. They like to bitch and complain a lot. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know, like I think there's a lot of things that you could highlight that's part of more so French culture. I think that's the beauty of the Olympics is that as a host country, you get to show off your culture, right? For example, I'm a big soccer football fan. Like South Africa Olympics, right? They had cool ceremonies. It was the first World Cup ever in Africa. Oops. Right? Like they had opening ceremonies, right? This is one of the most like famous songs ever. Shakira. I don't want to get demonetized, so I'm not gonna play it like the music, But you guys don't know it, like the waka waka waka. You know what I'm saying? Like that was cool. It showed off like the culture. Like that's what it should be about. I mean, it's French culture about, I guess, for lack of better words, mocking Christianity and making it, I guess, kind of like drag. I don't think so. I don't think that's that represents her. I don't know, not a French culture connoisseur or anything, but I doubt that's what represents it. I don't know. I think just like for me, look, if we're gonna talk about brand friendly and all those different things, right? Like, let's make it about showing off the culture. Let's make it where kids from all over the world can see. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who are my French people in here. I mean, I'm curious on what people in France are saying about this. Like, are they happy about it? Is this more so kind of just outrage that people are talking about in the U.S.? Talk to me. Are there any Frenchies in here? I'm German. Is that close enough? Um, they said it was supposed to look like the Feast of the Gods, but the painting came after the Last Supper and was mocking it. I thought. I know, yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. They're like kind of like retracting the comments right now. You know what I'm saying? Nah, French people hate it. Interesting. Are live streams a regular thing? Nah, I'm down, man. Hell yeah, guys. I'm just trying to build my explorers in here. My day one gens. We're trying to build a movement, and I want to connect with y'all. Yo, no no French people based. They're just wait. Seb, are you French? Many French people hated it, to be honest. I think most French people don't even like the Olympics being in Paris. Yeah. I think there was like a lot of things that happened, I think, leading up to it, right? I think the subways were derailed and all that. If you're gonna do live streams to connect, are you also gonna be more active in your server? Man, shut up. Shut up. Stop. Like, what do you think I'm doing right now? I'm talking to my entire audience. Yes, I'll, maybe interact with like the Discord a little bit, but bro, I got shit to do too, man. But yes, Oddity, link the Discord for people who do want to join. You can get notifications. You can also talk with like the people in the community. And all kidding aside, I'll try my best, man. I'll try my best. Um, so yeah, chat. So one thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is I think I fucked up. I think I fucked up a little bit today, and I wanted to be real with you. So I just made this I'm not blaming my editor or anything. He said that from Beaverton? Oh no shit. I'm from Beaverton, Oregon. That's my hometown. Um let's just say people are getting too comfortable trying to express themselves, whether inappropriate or not nowadays. Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps, right? I think that's what happens when there's maybe too much acceptance. It's like if we want to accept everyone, are we going to accept really anything? Right? I think in my mind there needs to be certain boundaries or at least appropriateness, right? If we're gonna separate out some things, like we need to make sure that it's in the right place. But again, guys, like you know what I'm saying? It's like it's it's like sorry, I'm like reading the comments. I'm getting distracted. Thank you. What was I gonna say? Shit, I'm sorry. I got super distracted. But anyways, I did wanna talk about this. What's up? What's up, Chelsea? OMG hi. Again, love it. You should go to Singapore and see some of its shocking laws. Good videos. Appreciate it. We need to go back to traditional. Oh, what I was gonna say is that look, the pendulum is always swinging though, right? And guys, one thing that I've noticed recently, and hopefully I can kind of be like a reliable source in this as someone who likes, makes videos on these types of things. I feel like cancel culture is kind of pulled back a bit in the sense that like a lot more people aren't as stringent when it comes to cancel culture now. I feel like now I'm maybe because I'm spending too much time on Twitter, but like, okay, for an example, also guys, like follow me on Twitter, by the way, if you guys want to hear more of my opinions and such. And yeah, I'm trying to really go in on this. One thing that's been interesting is seeing how, like, for example, people are making careers off of saying the N word. And guys, I do not endorse this by any means. But I don't know if I'm just spending too much time on Twitter or anything, but have you guys heard of like this girl? I mean, it went like pretty viral, right? Yeah, this girl. She like essentially went viral for essentially saying the N word. I think she said it in the context of all my friends are dating broke ass N word, and she has literally built a media career off of it, right? She has 132K followers on Twitter, and this was all look on Instagram now. I'm not showing my screen, my fault. This girl, have you guys seen it? She's like the one who like literally said the N word and made a career. So I don't think like she's like really blown up like that on Instagram or anything, but especially on Twitter. Like as you can see, even in like the pictures, right? She's doing a bunch of media shit, and she literally made it off of that word. She did not build it off of that word only, but that's what I'm saying is she got traction from that, right? Like look at it on Twitter. And like where I'm going with all this is I feel like cancel culture is kind of reversed back a bit. Like I guess this kind of also proves the concept of like no public, there's no such thing as like negative publicity or anything. But I think what it shows is that now people are like just as a whole probably a lot more sick of cancel culture, right? Even on the left, even on the right, and are able to kind of like look past that in a way. And you only see that if like people like this can literally say the word and make like a media career off of it, right? I think a couple of years ago you clearly would have been ostracized, or she would have never even thought to make a video like that. I think part of it is that she knew that that was going to blow her up, get her name out there, and a certain amount of people will like her for it. And it also helps too that she's like a decently attractive looking female, right? And I think if like the content meta is if you're an attractive kind of conservative chick, you're gonna do very well. That doesn't mean that it's gonna take away from you being a talented individual or anything, but clearly it can help. But fuck yeah, guys, we got 85 concurrent viewers. Love it. Keep pulling up, keep pulling up. But what do you guys think? You guys think like cancel culture is like kind of like on the decline? I feel like people are sick of it. And I think like what I'm trying to say with all this is like, guys, the pendulum is always swinging. It's always like this. It's always like the Me Too movement. And then also like, oh shit, like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation. Oh, okay, maybe this, like not everyone, maybe we shouldn't believe all women. Maybe we shouldn't, right? Or we shouldn't believe any sort of group, right? And that's also why, like, for example, like I made a video on that. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Well, 920K people saw it. It's almost like a video 2 years ago where I talked about the false accusation case that I've had, right? And I never really share this maybe, but the reason why I went ahead like 2 years ago when I probably only had like what 1,000 or 5,000 like followers is I want to get ahead of it, right? I wanted to tell my story. I think the way people get canceled are a couple of things. One, if you present yourself differently than your persona, right? If you act like you're kind of like this like brand friendly person, but just like any human, they probably say the N-word as a joke, right? They say fucked up funny shit with like their friends and family. And then when that gets out, inevitably, the more attention that you get, right? Then they're like, holy shit, you present yourself as this person, and then now what the hell, right? So I think that's when you get canceled. And then also when people control the narrative. So I think for me, I wanted to get ahead of that because I knew guys, we're going to blow this shit up. So I knew that. And I wanted to make sure that someone else that has lied previously isn't going to spread my story. I wanted to be the one to get ahead of that. So, yeah, man, I'm kind of yapping endlessly, but, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? The big impact about this too is that it also gave a lot of courage. Again, I really like your content. Please don't touch kids. Never planned on doing that, nor have ever thought about that. So you guys don't need to worry. Hopefully I've been I think you're wrong about cancel culture. Tell me why. But But I hope I've been honest as possible with you guys and presented myself at least like as authentic as possible. I mean, clearly, I think I could do a better job. I want to build this more of this connection with y'all for real. But hopefully, I've been doing it again. People are sick of it, but what are you talking about making Korea of saying N words too far? Nothing like that in the mainstream. That's true. That's true. That is true. It's definitely not gonna be like any mainstream fame, and she's always just gonna be known as like the N word girl, right? So like it's definitely not something again I endorse by any means. And it's essentially just like clout jacking, like saying something extremely sensationalized and controversial for like the clicks. But yeah, I think ultimately if you just blow up like that, if you're just have no substance and that's kind of how you always get it, people are only going to watch you for like the next controversy instead of people really like fucking with you. Do you agree with the cancel culture that went the other way when people cheered for the Trump shooting and creators like Libs of TikTok would get them fired from their job? Yes, I think that's absolute bullshit. I think, dude, for those that are on Twitter, maybe this is too much like Twitter talk. I mean, let me know, chat. Have you guys seen this? It's like, dude, this is like, I bet you like this account is everything that I feel like is wrong with like media, right? And I think that they will be the ones that will probably say fuck mainstream media, fuck the libtards that they would say, but then they're engaging in the exact same thing whenever people disagree with them. So just for some context, once the Trump shooting happened, this account started like looking up Facebook accounts of just people, right? Just normal average citizens talking about how they wish that the bullet hit him, right? Look, obviously that's not right. You should never wish death on anyone, especially if you care about democracy. You definitely do not want your political opponent to be murked. That is a bad precedent. But this account, what they started doing was doxing these people's information. They would find these like Facebook profiles of these people, and your max volume, and I can barely hear you. Seriously. And what they would do is they would, to contact their employer and try and get these people fired. Like that's crazy. Like I bet you these people too, if I asked her this question, do you believe in cancel culture? She would probably be like, fuck no, that's bullshit. Only libtards do that. But then they would be doing the same fucking thing. But then, right? And then also Destiny will be saying some crazy shit too. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he was saying some crazy shit that like, he was like, oh, I wish it hit him too. And I can't really remember. Let me see if I can find it. But he has some like crazy takes, and he's more of a leftist. And he was saying some crazy shit too. Saying like, oh, like I'm so happy that person that got shot and was killed in the protest. I'm so glad that it happened. And it's like, oh, this is because he keeps saying he's a dictator. Like, come on, man. Like, are we really in this like space now where we're really this divided? Or is this only just Twitter? Is this only just Twitter and the endless engagement baiting that happens in media today? And guys, like, to be honest, right? I'm no fucking saint. And that's also why I wanted to kind of like make this live stream today, because I need you guys to always keep me accountable, right? Yeah, Twitter isn't real life. That's also the thing too, man. Probably just Twitter and the media. I think it's a loud minority that sounds like a large majority. Facts. I like Libs of TikTok, but I think they overstepped there. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I think that's also why it's so important to have like principles, right? It's really, really important to have like values and like what exactly do you stand for, or else the metric becomes more views, more subs, more clicks, right? That becomes the metric. And to a certain extent, you always have to play that game. I always have to play that game because like for me, right? For me, I'm financially incentivized to do so. This is my full-time shit, right? I depend on you guys to watch and keep coming back, right? Like that's what I depend on. But if I only chase that, then I'll just become like any other media company today. 424K subscribers and only 181 viewers. Dead stream, bro. Hey, man, we're just getting started with this. Trust me. This is the early stages. Even Kai Cenat probably only started with 80 viewers in the beginning. So yeah, not many people even know that I live stream. I haven't even like advertised it. But yeah, sir. Thanks for joining, bro. Thanks for joining. I like that coffee table, by the way. It goes nice with that rug. Thank you. Yeah, guys. You guys are seeing my living space and everything. But uncrossed arms looks defensive. We're all delusional, bro. Get off my dick. My friend has 1 mil and he gets like 90 LMAO. How did you guys find this live stream? Did you guys just see it on your homepage, or do you guys get the Discord notification? How do you guys even find this? Like how you don't put your own opinions in your videos, just shows that what people want to say. Dude, Marine, thanks for the 5, man. Not gonna lie, bro. You speak for a generation, for real. Corny joke, but seriously, I think you encapsulate how many people feel about things somewhere in the middle. Appreciate that. Just popped up. This is recommended to me both. It's on homepage. Okay, cool. Homepage, subscribers homepage. So the algorithm. Got messages on Discord. Chat, if you guys want to get like notifications on when this comes up, because I also know sometimes the YouTube algo is unreliable. Feel free to join our Discord. Sunder or mods, please put it in there if you guys can. You're next after a Blackstone owns businesses vid. Huh. Interesting. So I just got recommended like that. Interesting. Your legend, keep going with streams, but tell me the time you're doing it. Yeah, look, Rookman, I'm going to stop everything and message you specifically that I'm going to go live. No, I'm playing. But yeah, I'm going to start like actually like advertising this as we get into it. But also, guys, you know what I also want with these live streams is like, I want this close relationship that we can fuck on each other, right? Like a big part of also being able to kind of like bridge this divide, bridge this bias, if you want to call it that. Oh, subscribe to our newsletter if you guys haven't, by the way, is also being able to fuck on each other. I feel like that's also missing. That's when social like cancel culture happens. That's why sometimes those people with no lives spend all day trying to cancel comedians. It's because they don't fucking know what humor is. This is the newsletter, by the way. And a big part of like why people also feel so divided and uncomfortable is because we can't also laugh on each other. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like some of the closest friendships that I have, man, we are ruthless to each other, man. I've heard every racist joke under the sun, but it also gave me the thick skin, right? That's also why if you guys say I have a big ass forehead, or that my laugh is cringe, or 420K subs and you don't even have 90 viewers, like I could brush that off because of the thick skin I was also able to build up with my friends. So I think it's also really, really important to remember that, like, being able to joke on each other, in my eyes, with like, certain limits and all that, is like the best way to really, really have like that respect. Like some of like the funniest memes I've seen is what is it? Have you guys seen like that meme where they like show you how like a racist friend's like friend group? Somebody let me know if I can find that. It's like this like meme that shows you like like this is the perfect example. Dudes on here be like, I'm racist, and then their friend group looks like this. It's true. But then this is just like the first. Yeah, this is the perfect example. People be saying like I'm not racist. All their friends look like this. All their friends are the same. They've only talked to people in their same income bracket, upbringing, background, all that. And the people that be making fun of every race equally, their friend group be looking like this. It's facts though. Hey, thank you, Byron, for the $5. Get Gup. I don't know what that is, but appreciate that. Appreciate that. So guys, it's really really important too. If you guys want to fucking roast me, you know, call me big ass. Okay, I'm like asking for it too much at this point. But like my point is like, you know, I want a funny chat. You know, it makes it easier. It makes it like I'm talking to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, chat. What do you guys think? Chat is getting more active, but viewers is getting low. It's all good. It's all good. We want the hardcore people. Like for example, whenever I do these streams, I lose subscribers in a sense, but that's good. I don't want that. I want the dedicated viewers in here. You know what I'm saying? Again, allowing racial slurs. Okay, I'm not saying that. Maybe like DM me it or something, but not in the YouTube chat. Don't fuck up my bag. How do you find these contacts in different countries like the one in Brazil? That was real as hell, man. I've only met internationals at work. Yeah, guys. So I will be making a video on that very, very soon, explaining how I was able to get this sort of access that led to 2.9 million views. So it goes pretty deep. For the viewers that were in the previous streams, I talked about how every media outlet in Brazil started talking about me because of this video. You know, talked about my past, all these different things. I'll be making a video on this, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. We are working on that. I think it's I've stayed silent. So many journalists have like reached out to me, but I knew it wasn't gonna be like something good. So yeah, that's gonna be coming in. Don't listen to the haters. That was a great video. Yesterday, Nugan vid drop. What's up? What's up? Chat. Also, one thing that I also wanted to mention. Okay, I kept getting distracted by this, but the reason why I wanted to make this is, what do you guys think, man? I want to ask you guys because I mean, to be honest, my mind is kind of like made, but I feel like I fucked up a bit. Have you guys seen this? So let me just play it for you. I mean, it's just pretty much like in short, I fucked up by like calling the you guys have heard of the Olympics like fiasco, right? It's like kind of like everywhere. It's like the culture war hot topic at the moment. You know, I'm not gonna lie, right? I wanted to kind of provide my own piece to it because I've done a video where I asked trans athletes. But hold on, I don't know why I can't hear this. Can you guys hear this? Oh wait, that's why. Trans people on the mat. All right, gender situation. So, I want to. What's going on with the Olympics boxing's transgender situation? I want to ask some trans people on the matter.
I think someone who is prepubescent.
So I fucked up by saying, look, that she was trans. And I feel like it's not representative of what we should do. Because because like, look, I don't know how much. Look, from what I understand right now, I tweeted about it, so let me pull that up. These are the facts that I've gathered so far. And it was after I after I filmed that video. So it seems like, you know, she's not like completely dominant. Like, yes, she has you know, like a pretty good win record, but she has lost 9 times, right? She's not like completely fucking everyone up. So what I understand is that she's not trans because she was born a woman, but has a Y chromosome. So she's intersex. So new thing for me. I don't really know what that exactly means, but there are facts that she has been disqualified from other events in the past. But clearly she, you know, couple of things to add is that, yeah, like Khalil just said, she's female, bro. I'm Algerian. It's illegal here. Like, they would not put a trans athlete as a representative of their country. And also the Olympics, the IOC, right? The International Olympics Community, they have standards that don't allow, trans athletes to participate, right? Or at least like fight against women or whatever it might be. So where I'm going with all this is I feel like I should delete this video because I did get that wrong. And honestly, I feel like it's in bad taste to keep it up. But I'm curious on what your guys' thoughts are. Um, I'm curious on what you guys think because I'm open, right? NG, not gonna lie, probably delete. I'd be safe and private for now. Delete if it's misinformation, so it's no shame to delete. Okay. Now you're all good. Can you re-edit it? Let me see. Let me ask my editor real quick. Yeah. Okay. So don't want this canceling you in the future. That's a good point. People are just worried and ready to call stuff that's weird with all this shit going on. Just tread carefully. Yeah, I'll delete. Yeah, I just feel like it's also not worth it. Re-upload with clarification. I'll delete or make a statement about it showing integrity to the truth. Yeah, I'll do that. Let's. I'm messaging my editor. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. You did another video explaining what you learned. Nah, I mean I don't need to go that much. Pin a comment to it. New video adds more context and corrects it. They aren't trans. Yeah, make more credit if you acknowledge it. Motherfucker got YouTube chat has a PR team. Hey man, my audience is smart, bro. Makes more credible if you acknowledge it. Again, opinion on the Penguin Z0 moist critical situation. Yeah, I have thoughts on that. So for those of you who don't know, I believe Penguin 0. Oh, oops. What happened is they had a debate on what did they have a debate on? I think it was around the age of consent or something like that. And I think in short, Charlie, Moist Critical, essentially said during the debate, I think like Sneeko kind of challenged him saying, what is it? What did he? What, chat? Correct me. I think Sneeko asked him, "Is it okay for because Moist Critical has like a hard line of 18 that if you're under 18, you're a minor." And Sneeko said that look, an age of consent is maybe more so after puberty, and it depends and different things like that. So he didn't really have like a specific age. And I think Sneeko said, he asked Charlie, would you be okay? So if you're not okay with like marriage of like minors, even if they get parental approval and all that, would you then be fine with a child getting approval from their parents to be able to transition? And I think that was like the take that Charlie had, which I think is a fucking insane take in my personal opinion. Like if you're gonna disbar like minors from what I'm trying to say is like if you're gonna like not have them do that, but then you'll be fine with like the whole trans thing, I don't think that makes any sense of the word. But I think someone said, yeah, both of them had weird takes. To be honest, both. I completely agree, honestly, because I think also you should have some sort of like age limit for things like this, or else things become super disambiguous, right? I mean, if we want to stand on like values, like we also need to set those strong limits, or else things get super messy, right? And I think Sneeko's like thing is like he's also bringing in like a religious debate, and then also talking about how different states have different laws, so there isn't like this ubiquitous agreed with 18 age, which is true. For example, I think in Brazil like the age of consent is 14. In Japan it used to be 13, and now it's like 16 or something like that. But I think overall though, I think Moist Critical was also just scared to lose some sort of like audience, and he really wasn't able to, and maybe this is actually what he believes, but he also understands that this is more so kind of like the popular opinion to have. And I think he received a lot of heat from that. And clearly, right, with Moist Critical, he's like probably one of the most successful, what is it, commentary channels ever, right? He has like what 10 million views. Like Moist Critical can take a fucking, he can upload a video of him taking a goddamn shit, and he'll get like at least 2 million views, right? So to be honest, to get to that level of kind of like numbers, you're gonna have to kind of have more of the popular opinion. You're gonna have to kind of have more of the current thing brand popular opinion, or you can't really get to that level in the mainstream. You know what I mean? Like, so in that instance, I think he was he probably felt the heat, and he was like, oh shit, like fuck, is everything that I like built for gonna be gone? And I think that's also why he felt like super pressured for it. Yeah, that's fine. Moist Critical clarified he does not have the skill to debate. So I see why this happened. But then, I also respect to him for willing to have that conversation, right? Which I think is super important. And I think uh, also good for Moist Critical for even taking that, right? So, for example, like Sneako's a friend of mine. Like I have his number. We've collabed before. He's like, like someone that I used to really like watching his videos. And yeah, he's a cool guy. I he's only been like kind to me. But I also understand, like, he's been canceled everywhere. So for someone like Moist Critical, who's clearly doing extremely well on YouTube, to talk to someone who has been canceled is extremely commendable. I think that's super, super awesome. And yes, he got, in my opinion, cooked in the debate, just in terms of, I think, just debate wise, right? Just purely who won the debate. I don't think anyone can really say that like Sneeko didn't win that. I think it's super cool though that he took this, and I really respect him for that, because we need to have more conversations like that. We need to, guys. Sorry, has there been a lot of ads? Sorry if that's just been bearing y'all. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know how that's happened. I'll delay ads to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't want y'all to lose my flow. You know what I'm saying? Um. So yeah, that's what I think. I don't know, chat. What do you guys think? L take, W take. Crazy how critical is being flamed, but Sneeko isn't when arguably Sneeko. No, but this also goes back to what I was talking about, is that Sneeko also, he's been canceled, but to his credit, bro, he's probably has been more popular since he's been canceled. That's like I don't think many people can do that. Right? I don't think many people can do that. And I really like respect him for that. I think he's been able to do stuff that many people I think would have crumbled in. And what was I gonna say? God, I keep getting like sidetracked. My fault. It's been a long week. Sneeko, oh yeah, Sneeko isn't being flamed because like I guess he always says his opinion too, right? So like this is also kind of new territory for Moist Critical. Like he said, he was out of his comfort zone, being in a debate, right? So in this instance, he hasn't really said like, ventured into like this controversial of like a discussion. So yeah, he's gonna be flamed because he was kind of in uncomfortable territory, and this isn't how people know him as. But for Sneeko, if something controversial happens, you're gonna know his like opinion, right? And I think that's why also people galvanize and support him a lot. Is that he's a very, very strong opinionated personality. So that's my thoughts on it. I think it's great. I really, really respect Moist Critical for taking the debate. I think Sneeko cooked them in the debate. And I think to a certain extent, I don't think Moist Critical was like grifting or anything. I think that's just what he believes. But it's also just, to reach this level of YouTube fame, you also have to kind of say more so like the current thing, or subscribe to that belief. So that's what I think. So yeah. Hi, so glad to see you doing more lives. Appreciate it. How are you doing with everything going on in the world? How's your week? It's been good, man. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. I have like a newfound kind of drive and excitement behind this channel, guys. That's one of the reasons why I want to start doing a lot more of these live streams. Is I have an incredible opportunity here. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to do this for a living. It's fucking stressful at times. That's for damn sure. But I don't know. I think I can do what I do better than anyone in the world. And I don't mean that out of cockiness, but purely confidence and belief that guys, we've only scratched the surface. We've only scratched the surface in terms of the impact that we want to make. And I can't quit. I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I got to keep building a rock hard audience. You know, I want to build a cult like following. The Gen religion. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But no, really, like I feel extremely blessed to be able to do what I do. So, yeah, guys, I just want to say thank you for even just tuning in. You know, this is a random you know, kind of thing, but that's what I was saying. Starting a cult. Chat, you guys can also check out my merch if you guys want to help out too. You can find it in here. If you guys don't like it, it's all good. We're just getting started with stuff like this. It's only if you want to support or anything like that. So, Maz, if you want to throw it in, or if I want, I'll do it. But yeah, guys, I really, really appreciate you, even if it's just like watching and stuff. So, yeah, guys, chat. Any other questions? This wasn't supposed to be a long stream or anything. I join your cult. Guys, what should I call my audience? I feel like the Explorers is kind of corny. Bro, why the chat is so active? Usually YouTube streams be dead as fuck because we got the fucking squad. That's why I'm not worried about the views. The views will come. The views will come. Right? It is a bit humbling being like, oh shit, you know, I get like 100K plus on my videos, but for a live stream only 64 come. Yeah, I know it's part of the ego of being a fucking content creator, right? I depend on you to watch me, continue to support me. You know, Gen Goons is crazy. The Gooners is insane. Generation, nah, that's corny as shit. Gen Goon. All right, chill out. Why the hell did I ask you guys? No. Gooners, no. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Deviants? What the fuck? Chat Wilden. Genitals? All right, come on now. I've heard of every like Gen pun out there. Anything from like Genjamin Button, Gen Griffey Jr., Genjamin, Genny, Wenny. I've heard all this shit. Big forehead people. All right, fuck you. Maybe the next merch I'm gonna release is like a headband or some shit. or a turban. Nah, I'm kidding. Who said the Gen clan? Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Gen next team? Bro, come on, Marcus. You can do better than that. Genbass? The fuck? Geeners? That sounds like a slur. Gen griffers? Yo, chat. Hey, yo, why did I even ask you guys anything? Fellowship of the Gen? That 100% sounds like a cult. Man, I would love to investigate a cult, though. Wouldn't that be cool? Also, guys, just for those that I haven't like shared this with, what I'm also trying to do with the content is to like take you guys more on like experiences like this. I had so much fun like making this. On Monday, I'm gonna go film at a survival bunker. On Friday, I'm gonna go film at like a helicopter hog tour. I think I told you guys this last stream. So yeah, I want to take you guys in more like experiences like this. Hopefully you guys like it. But then like still tied to like a controversy, right? So for example, in the Brazil video, I mean, it's fucking insane, right? But it's still tied to like this overall, let's say, theme of police brutality, right? Or you know, like that's like essentially like it became a topic everywhere, right? Especially I think in America, but it's also relevant everywhere. Go to Europe? I'd love to. I fucking love Europe. I used to, yeah. I haven't been to Europe in years. Gen Goon merch when? Genitals merch when? You got me fucked up. Do you hire a cameraman to film vids? Yes. But actually, I want to start doing more GoPro. I like it better. It's like, also, people respond better. People respond better with like a GoPro, man. It's like, I think it's like less intimidating. And honestly, I feel like a lot more free being able to control the camera angles. with a GoPro, like when you don't have like a big ass camera, especially for someone who's like not used to talking in front of the camera, um, they get kind of scared. And I think like especially with like my content, it's really about like asking controversial questions and not making it uncomfortable and getting people to speak their truth. It's very hard to do so when like a big ass camera is there, or it just feels like more set up. You feel like you have to perform. Bro, get a 360 GoPro. That'll make the video better with ability to move everywhere. Yeah, maybe I might get an Insta360. I've been thinking about that. Yeah, so then I could just control everything. Yo, get an We've been trying. We've been trying to get an Insta360 sponsorship. If I do that, I would fucking use this shit all the time. Okay, you should make a hat that's just an extension of your forehead. Man, fuck you, man. That made me laugh. So it's just it's just my head, my forehead, just on top like this. It can be like a little yarmulke of just like my forehead. It's just like my exact skin tone. You could just put it on top of your fucking head. Man, that would be funny as fuck. Oh shit, did another ad hit? My fault. Why is it that ads happen so much? Is that annoying? I mean, obviously you're going to say yeah. But how did that hold on? How do I like disable that? Also, chat, if bros milking us, yeah, low key. But maybe you also just need to get ad blocker. No, but then don't. That'll impact my bag. Please investigate parasocial relationships. Guys, I'm trying to create one with you. I'm trying to create one with you. At least I'm being honest. No, I'm playing. I fuck around too much. Chat, any questions for me? This wasn't supposed to be long. Any questions for me? Any things that you guys want my opinion on? Where did my chat go? You should do conspiracies. Can we be friends? Of course, Chelsea, of course. What do you think about Gen Explorers? Bro, Parth, come on, man. Guys, I thought my audience was smart. What camera you use? I use a GoPro and a Sony a7 IV. What did you eat today? Bro, I haven't ate shit today. All I've ate is like chips and cheese. I ate like a mouse. Opinion on Duke Dennis? I don't know. I don't really know him. Did you see this 100% unedited pic of you in the Discord? No. A Japanese Slums video will be awesome. Yes, thank you. We will be doing that. For sure. And what's good is that your boy speaks Japanese. So one thing we're actually trying to work on right now is to get an interview with the Yakuza. He responded back once, but then he's ghosted me. I tried following up with him today, and he just read it. So we'll try again. We'll keep trying. I'm hopeful that it can happen. Opinion RFKJ. Hey, Justin, what's up, my guy? Guys, also Justin was our old shorts editor. So shout out Justin. Opinions on RFK Jr. To be honest, I don't really know much, but I think third parties are amazing, and I think he sometimes has some crazy takes, but I think it's always good to get people like that. I think he probably represents a lot more of like the middle than most people. So, yes, I think third parties are amazing. I think whenever people say like you're brainwashed or like it's a waste of a vote to vote for a third party, I completely disagree. I think ultimately you're letting your voice known, right? That's why people vote. So, I think it's good. I think if you're not happy with either the two choices, vote for a third party or don't vote. I also don't think that's a bad thing either. Like, yes, that's very controversial, and it's something I even shared in my latest video. But if you don't feel like you're represented by any of the candidates, don't vote. I'm not telling everyone to do it, right? But if you really don't feel like anyone really represents you, then why do you have to vote? Dude, how do you know these people? It's just also like, guys, like whenever the best thing about content, guys, is that you're networking at scale, right? So like, for example, anytime I make a video, I'm like simultaneously reaching many people, and in a way they get to know me through like the content. Right now this is like a lot more direct, right? I know 53 viewers are on right now and we're just chatting and you're getting to like know me. But like that's the best part. Maybe then like you might introduce my channel to like a friend of yours cuz you're like, "Oh shit, you might like this guy." Right? It's like you're constantly like networking at scale. So when that happens, it becomes a lot easier to be able to reach out to different people. I made a video though, like when I was like very low subscribers, in which case I was able to, I guess, network my way to talk to Sneeko. So it's also possible. Anyone you want to reach is only 6 degrees of separation apart. So what that means, it's only 6 handshakes from a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and so on, to get to anyone. So whether that's Trump or Kamala, right? You probably know someone who knows someone who knows someone. And I think also the more of a network you build and let's say more clout you build, that like distance becomes shorter. But let's say even if you only know few people, you don't even understand how much your reach could go. Oh, dude, Marine, thanks for the 5-man video about the Epstein situation. I mean, dude, I think it's too late. I don't think I even had like a channel when the whole thing like really went down. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think we thought about it, but I don't think there's much to talk about here, right? Opinion on someone asking for a hot gamer girlfriend? I don't understand that question. Let's see. Brett Cooper talks about you. Yes, she has reacted to a couple of my videos. Let's see. I'm not voting for the voter. Again, for president. Appreciate that. Do you think the U.S. could enter another civil war if it gets worse here? You know what? That's something I thought about a lot. Like, what if the whole Trump shit, like, was successful? Like, would that have led to war? I have a feeling. Why does Gen only say the most unserious comments? I mean, come on, guys. This is entertainment at the end of the day, no? You know what I'm saying? I don't always need to be the professional presenter, Trying to also get away from that. I want y'all to really know me, who I am. Like, I can't really act on stream. This is just who I am. Can't really play a character. Whereas if in a carefully edited video, you can kind of, for lack of better words, manipulate things to show it. You know what I mean? So, I think yeah, dude, guys, I think if like the Trump thing like went successfully in the eyes of some, I think that would have probably maybe escalated things towards a civil war. I don't think it would have actually happened, but yeah, to be honest, what am I saying? Like, I don't think a civil war could really break out. Shit, did another ad pop up? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Which video do you think you personally failed to hide a bias? I was honest anytime I was biased. So for example, in this video, I said that, look, I think a lot of climate activists, especially only the extreme ones, they're stupid. They're fucking stupid. It's the worst way to be extreme, to get people on your side, is the worst way to convince people. It's like the same thing as like yelling at someone to change a fundamental belief about themselves. That's the worst way to do it. Every time bro says sorry, he has another ad. So I said it explicitly, and I think, guys, that's more so the direction I want to head to. Is like, look, I have opinions too, clearly, but why not be honest about that? I'm not gonna lose the essence of my channel of talking to people that I may disagree with or talking to all sides. But what if at the end I'm just like, well, like, look, this is what I actually came into the investigation with, but I actually changed my fucking mind. I talked to this person and it made me change my mind. That's like so much like more relatable, right? Because I'm sure I hope you guys have gone through that journey watching my videos. Maybe you were like, you know what? Let's take an example. Like, maybe you were like, Okay. Shit. I need a good example. Okay, maybe you were like, yes, trans athletes should compete against women. Trans women are women, whatever, right? But then after you watch this video, maybe you were like, well, you know what? Maybe I can consider a different perspective. Hopefully you guys have had like things like that. I've had that with the abortion video. I've said this 1,000 fucking times already, but look, I was pro-choice going into this video. Look, to be honest, I still am. But after talking to people on the pro-life side, it made me realize more like, look, the more you wait is murder. But I still think you should have absolute right, like that women should have the right to do whatever the hell that they want with their body, not just women, but anyone, right? As long as you're not harming anyone, right? And yeah, that's how I view it now. Like, I still think it should be pro-choice. It's just, I think let's not delude ourselves too. It's like, that's what I'll say. So I've changed my mind, even if it's slightly during these like investigations. And I think that's just a lot more relatable, don't you guys think? Because I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect by any means. In fact, I'm deeply, deeply flawed. You know what I was thinking? It's like it's kind of funny how sometimes just yapping like this, where obviously I'm talking and having conversation with you guys, but if you look at it, like let's say if an alien walks in my apartment and sees what I'm doing, they'd be like, "What the fuck is this guy just talking to himself?" Like, there's something very therapeutic about this. And yapaholic for real. Hey man, at least you're watching me yap. And I'm spamming you guys with ads, so guess who's winning, motherfucker? I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Bro speaking Japanese. What's your opinion on Christmas? I think I talked about this. Sir yaps a lot. Voices of your forehead. Get the fuck out of here. I talked about it. I mean, what opinion is there to have? If there's hard evidence of him doing shit with like minors, that's obviously not okay, right? Um, but I don't think Mr. Beast should get canceled unless he, I guess, knew about it. But I also understand the predicament that he must be in. It's like his childhood friend that he built together this the biggest YouTube channel ever, 200 million plus subscribers, maybe even more now. Um and to with all that's happening with the situation, I don't think he should be canceled for it. But I think, he at least took the action to remove him or whatever happened. Have you rumbled before? Yes, I do have a rumble. Also, guys, do you guys know how I can stream in multiple places at once? Like I can stream on Rumble and YouTube and Twitter or something like that. By the way, anybody who knows like OBS well, can you guys like please like message me on Instagram or something? I'm using OBS right now. I don't know how to like stream. Yes, ask ChatGPT. No, shut up. Can someone help me? If someone knows, message me on Instagram or Discord, whatever works. If you could help me with that. I also want to like start making some more like graphics, like how like the streamers have it, like Gen Kimura or something like that, or follow Gen. I don't know. It looks cool. It looks cool. Makes it more official, but I don't want it to be corny. Ask forehead GP. Man, get the fuck out of here. What's your Instagram? Moz, can you link my Instagram for me for the people? For the people. Um, but yeah, I need some help. I'm not good with this whole shit. That forehead is Coney. I heard you can go live cross platform on StreamYard. Hmm. Oh, okay, cool. So, do you guys know? Well, I guess maybe not, but he's a Twitch streamer, and Twitch streamer, this guy wants to talk. We were gonna do like a stream actually like a month ago. Um, what's it called? His name is Carter. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but he wants to hop on, so maybe we can talk to him for a little bit. So yeah, I think we can talk about them. Have you guys heard of this guy? As a kind of personal question, if you're having a search for faith or some kind of belief system, how's it going? Obviously, if it's a little personal and easy to answer. To be honest, I haven't thought about it like too much, but like I said in the video, it's something I have been thinking about a lot. I'm in no rush. I think truth like this will always come to me. But it's definitely something I've thought about a lot. Bro, the Discord what? Oh, you guys can hear it? How do I disable that? How do I disable that? Sorry. Is it a lot of shit? Okay, I'll disable all notification sounds. You guys are good now. I'll stop yapping. Shut up. Never streamed before, but Rumble Studio does provide all-in-one streaming. Huh, interesting. Bro couldn't stop nodding because of the weight of his forehead. Man, I'm not even gonna lie. You guys are getting fucking good at this. That one was pretty good. I seen Jose on the ball do this the best. Oh, fuck me. This is wild. You guys are probably like fucking 18, 19 just flaming me for my seemingly big ass forehead. He's a big thinker. Man, get the fuck out of here. Wait, so but I can do this on OBS, stream across platforms? Bro, has anyone bullied on you because you're Asian living in the US? Of course. Of course. Of course. Again, part of the story arc of me building up a thicker skin. Yeah, of course you do. But then you also have to learn how to clap back, right? You have to learn how to clap back. Can I put an ad on your forehead? All right, that's it. I'm gonna release another ad. Every time I see a forehead joke, I'm fucking doing another ad. I at least need to monetize my my me getting roasted. Bro's forehead claps back. Times Square on your forehead. Oh my god, this is insane. 10 forehead? Oh, come on. But yeah, as you can understand, right? It won't be as long as your Bro, I'm gonna start streaming here. So then I don't look as like my okay shit, it makes my forehead look bigger, not even gonna lie. Like it looks like proportionately off. I can play 5 games of tic-tac-toe on your forehead. Bro, why am I subjugating myself to this? Oh my god. His stream is nothing but opinions and forehead shaming. Dude, this is insane. Do you have makeup on? Why is your face red? I have rosacea. Or that's what my girlfriend says. I have rosacea. What's your next project that you're working on? Oh, yes, guys, the video that is coming up next is okay, also, I'm sure you guys have seen my polls. I actually answer that shit, or like I actually take that seriously. Right? So for example, you guys voted on this shit. I'm gonna execute on that. This is a video we're like working on tomorrow. I'm gonna start filming that tomorrow. But another one too is this one. Where'd it go? You guys voted on where'd it go? Hold up. But yeah, look. A month ago, I asked you guys, look at how much this won. This is a video that we're working on right now. So for this video, we asked people in the poorest neighborhood in Washington, D.C. We went to like the richest neighborhoods in Austin. But then we also interviewed this guy. Have you guys seen this video by chance? I also interviewed this guy as like kind of like the perfect middle ground of this. because he was a homeless drug addict that lived in Skid Row, but now is a multimillionaire. And I spent like a day with him. So I think, yeah, that's gonna be the next video that's coming out. It's I just saw like the frame draft from our editor. Super excited about it. It's gonna be really good. And yeah, hopefully you guys like it too. How often are you flying around for these videos? Well, in Washington D.C., I was already there, like doing like a bunch of videos, and then I filmed a lot of it in Austin. So I'm trying not to travel as much too, though, because it's expensive to do so. Title sounds a little egotistical. How this homeless drug addict? I mean, are you talking about this title, or what are you talking about? Or are you talking about asking rich versus poor the same questions? Oh, yeah. Title of the stream. Yeah. It's it's part of the clickbait. But yeah, guys. Let's see here. Damn, I've already been yapping for an hour. It's kind of crazy how like streamers can some streamers do like what 6-8 hours of like constant streaming. I mean, I think some of them just like go take a shit. Like, bro, did you guys see like XQC reacting to my video? Should I react to a react of a video? Bro, this motherfucker, man. So you guys can see, I'm not gonna go through it.
The part most important here is all of our actions is based on training. Training. So all of
it's all automatic at this point, right?
Yeah. Just skip to like
Can we do one where I like?
Bro didn't say a goddamn word. You didn't say a word. Look, I'm gonna click on something. Our intentions. We had one final test, and it was a pull-up competition.
All right, what do you guys?
Can you guys hear me?
So what do you guys think I'm gonna get? Let me know in the comments before you watch.
I would bet 7.
So, he bet 7. Okay, how many do you think?
Okay, so like I'm gonna click to a random spot, and like he does not even like say anything.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Can you guys hear it now?
All right.
Chat, I'm getting mixed shit. We hear. Yeah, video's so loud.
Got 16. How many did you get? 20?
16 as well.
Oh, what? Okay, cool.
You're tied.
We gained the captain's trust and we were
But you
given
guys
the
can
approval.
see he's like
but
not saying shit,
remember
right?
earlier how I said
And
that
then
the tenant was
look at
supposed
this
to come
point.
and meet us?
So like this is when like the
I
video
wasn't
really
trying to-
starts getting exciting. Look at this guy. You guys can't hear me? What? Hello? Hello? Dude, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. All right, anyways, okay. Okay, do you guys see how like this motherfucker leaves? He just leaves for like 10 minutes. It's not like he comes back and says shit. Look, I'm clicking on random areas. Like, I feel like in a reaction video, if you click to a random area, like let's say 10 times, there should be 8 at least moments where you're actually providing something.
Process the rest.
Sorry.
And he's making what, like 200 mil doing this? Oh, what? He's about to say something?
They don't have the luxury of doing
Oh, well-
things like always the perfect way, whatever. Like NA does. You always apply any standards to other countries, and it makes watching shit really fucking stupid. They just can't do it.
To be honest, I don't really understand what he's saying there either. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. This also kind of like wakes me up a bit, right? In the sense that, like, I don't like. Did anyone understand what he said? Like, also, like, what is like the value of this? Like, how is he able to? I'm not okay. I'm hating. I'm hating right now. But like, like, he probably just does this all day. He like does it, just like reacts to shit like this. like all day, and it's just like farming views from that. Sounded like Joe Biden for a sec. Yeah, I guess I am hating with a reason at least, right? But yeah, it's insane. Like it's like, bro, I went to Brazil. I got canceled by the media there. I, fucking spent all day like filming this. And bro like got like at least 10% of my views just by fucking taking a shit. That's kind of crazy, no? It's also, this makes me think like, bro, what the fuck am I doing? Should I just be reacting to shit all night, all day? Should I just do that? Like, what the fuck am I doing going to explore the unfamiliar? I could just explore the unfamiliar with my with boxers on. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing going out to talk to people? This is dumb. This is stupid. Should I just do that? So I just verify you can go live at the same time on Facebook, YouTube. Oh, fuck yeah. On OBS. Let's roll out NYC. Can you please Discord message me or hit me up on Instagram? Oddity, if you want to drop my Instagram and the Discord, please. Bro, if your girlfriend told you to delete your channel or you're done, would you delete the channel? No. Why would I do that? Come on, bro. Have some respect for yourself, yes, sir. Hopefully you wouldn't do the same shit. React to a react. Yeah, I guess that is mainstream media. That's like, people always say like, why does mainstream media, like, why don't they send their journalists to go do shit? And it's like, I guess it's not worth it to them. If they can get the same amount of views plus more, like reacting to shit, saying, this is dumb, this is stupid, this is a libtard, this is a cuckservative, like, if that's the case, then why would you do any journalism? Socials are in the description, by the way. That's true. Yeah. What is this skibidi toilet thing? That's like below my generation, I think. Hold on. I'm about to talk to Carter. Okay. So I think he wants to talk. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. And then I'm gonna talk to him. All right, guys, don't leave, so then I can make ad revenue while I'm going to the toilet. So I'm gonna play my videos. So okay, yeah. I'm just gonna play my videos. I'm gonna go take a piss real quick. Fuck, everyone just left because of that, guys. No, don't leave. Don't leave, guys. Am I just about to go interview this guy and then they're like, what? That's insane. I'm just gonna pull up with 36 viewers. That's crazy. All right, I'm gonna come back. Hopefully the viewers don't leave. I'm gonna pull an XQC on you guys. Man, I'm starving. All right, thank God. At least some of y'all came back. Bro, I love this chat, man. You guys are great. You guys are great. Chat, I need all the people to come up though. That'll be guys, that's gonna be embarrassing. He's also like a full-time streamer, I think. And I think if he I mean, you know, 424k subs isn't too bad, but if I'm just pulling up with only 50 and he's just gonna see forehead as the chat is crazy. That's all they're gonna see is just forehead. That's insane. This is a coordinated attack on just my ego. Forehead is crazy. I really hope this doesn't. I really hope this only stays in this fucking tiny ass like segment of my audience. I really hope this doesn't spread. Forehead. Oh my god. Yeah, imagine someone new to the channel joins and all they see is just forehead. Oh my god. I'll go comment on your recent video. Hey man, stay off my YouTube chat. Holy fuck. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. I thought I'm not gonna lie. So I met obviously a decent amount. No, I guess a decent amount. But I met some of y'all in real life. And I'm like, shit, man. The one common theme is you guys are smart as hell. Like I met fucking PhD students, fucking, you know, going to John Hopkins, Ivy Leagues, whatever it might be, right? And I was like, damn, I have a really, really smart audience. But they're all kind of seem to be a bit more serious, right? Or like, yeah, you know, just like well-adjusted people. I didn't expect this. I guess I haven't really met the the basement dwellers. You guys are who are spending your Friday night watching my dumbass. So, you know, I guess I wouldn't see you guys out and about because you guys are too busy in your basement fucking gooning to Gen all day, right? So of course I'm not gonna see y'all. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Oh, bro, it's 3 a.m. It's school. Oh. All right, chat. Let me give him a call. Okay. Let's see. Can you guys see my shit? So, hold on. I guess I'm gonna have to. So wait, what's the best way to do this? Should I just go full screen? Okay, wait, what does it look like when I go full screen? Oh, okay, but then you guys can see me like this. So if I go full screen like this, then you can see the full screen, right? I mean, I can't. Yeah. Man, it's a mess. All right, there it is. Yeah, we're gonna be talking on there. So I guess I have to disable my camera, right? Guys, bear with me, man. Bear with me. I even skipped an ad for you guys. All right, let me deactivate. Okay, hold on. What the fuck?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Wait 1 second. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear you. So you have to change in your voice, or it's muted maybe.
Oh, should
You're
I? Do I
muted?
need to disable my mic?
Here, I'll turn on my camera 1 second too.
Yo,
I can see him.
I'm such a
Out.
noob with stuff like this. Oh,
Cool.
wait.
And OBS.
Okay, so I need to mute my mic, right? On OBS?
1 sec. Yeah, I can't hear you, so you can see me though.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh, it says your mic is muted. Click the mic mute icon. There
Okay,
you go.
are we
Wait.
good now?
Nope. Okay. Oh, there you go.
We're good?
Yeah, yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm on a VPN really quick. I'm gonna disconnect so it's not super
Sure.
laggy. All right. Cool. Yo.
Yo, what's good, man? Nice to finally meet you. I'm still
Yeah,
like, trying
yeah.
to figure out how I can like see my chat as I'm doing this. Do you have like multiple screens? I only have like one big screen. Maybe that's my
Oh,
problem.
you have one. Okay, so what you can do, what I do when I used to use one monitor is I would drag. You can pop out the Discord thing. If you're on Discord, it says pop out,
Mm-hmm.
and then pop us out, and then like drag it to one side and like make it half, and then put chat on the other half.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's like split down the middle.
And then do you on OBS do I share like full screen or just
Oh,
or
you don't have to share anything. I can just open it. I can just open your stream on YouTube, and then you don't have to share your screen. Makes it easy. I have 3 monitors, so
wait. So I
I've
don't
been
have
doing this
to
a long time. There we go. Cool. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I think they can see my full screen though. Shit.
Oh yeah, they can see everything. If you want, I'm trying to think of a way you could do it. You can just capture your oh yeah, now you're just showing like your Discord on there you go. That works.
I think that's better. Yeah.
Yeah. That works.
Jesus. Well,
Yeah,
nice to meet
it's
you,
all
man.
good. Yeah, nice to meet you too. It's unfortunate that we didn't get to hang out right before because we were in the same area. But then I came here and you had things going on.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious. How do you know about me? Did like your chat?
We found someone in my chat linked me one of your videos once, and I forget which one it was. Or maybe it showed up because we were watching a Tyler video. I don't remember. But then we ended up down a rabbit hole, and then you hosted the Jubilee thing.
Ah.
And that was a big one. The Jubilee thing, we're like, we saw you or something, I think was what it was. And then we went down the rabbit hole.
So what does your chat think about me? Am I a grifter?
I think you're I think they just think you're less bad Tyler.
Oh,
honest.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not
It's always
bad.
it's always a good comparison to just be called a lesser version or a bootleg version of someone else.
You don't know what I mean. Listen, when I say less bad Tyler, that's a giant compliment. My community is not fond of Tyler at all. So that's a compliment for sure. We actually, you know what? We watched your Brazil video and we thought it was pretty sick. We were like, that's pretty sick. I mean, we don't like police, but in Brazil, you know, it's still cool to see an inside and to follow it around. Plus, I think when you did your reporting on that, it was much more like, you know, it wasn't like, oh, I love cops. Well, you know, cops are so sick. It was like, this is like a thing that's going on. It's pretty objective, you know?
Thank you.
So we thought that was sick. How'd you get into YouTube journalism?
Before we get into that, Carter, do you want to give like a quick like intro on who you are, just so my audience can know, and even for your audience, so I can give a quick intro too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I started streaming when I was like 16, and I originally did games, and then I quit streaming when I was like 18 years old, 19, and worked in oil and like had a bunch of different jobs, like a lot of like just normal like fucking roughneck shit. And then went back to college because that shit sucked. And I got a degree in science writing and like technical writing. So originally I was going to get a degree in engineering, and then I decided that I didn't really like calculus. I was in like calculus 3 or whatever, calculus 2. And I was like, this sucks. And I focused a lot on like writing about, you know, COVID was a thing that happened when I was like 24 and I was just in the height of college. And I was like, oh, this would be like cool to transition to writing about science and research and all of this. And I ended up taking a bunch of journalism and like learning how to essentially become like an effective communicator for science. And then at the same time, I was streaming every day, and it just became like more and more of a thing because I knew how to do it for years before. And so then I became like a full-time streamer in 2019,
Got you.
2020.
And then you live in
So
Australia.
now, yeah, now I'm here. Yeah, I'm in
What
Sydney
what
now.
made you move there?
My partner's from here.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you.
So we lived in the United States for the last 4 years. She moved.
Got
So
it.
and
So
we're
I
like,
think
we're gonna head out.
I think you reached out because like I guess we wanted to like hop in and talk. I'm curious if you have anything like specific you wanted to talk about.
No,
No?
not really. I think, well, I mean, I do want to talk about like, we'll get to it in a minute, but like, how did you get into YouTube? Like, what made you want to be like I don't know if you call yourself a YouTube journalist or a creative or a filmmaker. Like, what made you want to do that? Do you have like a friend or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I did like YouTube as like a kid. I would always make
Okay.
like stupid little like skits. It's like a pretty common
Yeah,
YouTube
same. Yeah.
path, right? Yeah, I'm sure
Yep.
you have similar things. But in terms of like journalism, it's like things that I like talking about just in general.
Okay.
Like I
Yeah.
always
Did you
like
do
talking about
politics
stuff
growing up?
like this. Huh?
Did you do like politics stuff growing up at all?
No,
Because like for
no.
me, I became speech and debate in high school to graduate early.
Yeah, and honestly, like I don't even like to consider myself political. I think it's just now everything is so politicized, and maybe it
Of
always
course.
was, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I just like talking more so around like social deep issues,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
is more so I also saw like a whole because like the whole street interview stuff like really became I
Mhm.
think big like over the last 4 years, but I
Yeah.
saw like a bunch of bullshit. People were only just like asking about what's your body count or what's your favorite sex
Yeah, yeah.
position.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to kind of like bring something a little bit different around that.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's what you're saying really quick is you were like you think everything became political or more politicized. I think it's more so that we just like you're like me, that's super similar because I was like super kind of removed, I would guess.
mhm.
And then one day I was like, man, there's a lot more politics and things than I realize, you know? And it's not that I think the world became more political. I think it's like you said, like we just realized it more and
Yeah,
more.
I think that's also the consequence of getting older too, is you start maybe
Yeah.
paying attention to stuff. So it's not like, oh my God, the world is going to shit. It's just maybe a lot of these things already kind of existed and now we're just paying attention to it.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite video that you've done?
Yeah, honestly, the Brazil video probably. It's like I had the most fun making it, and I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm making a video on this now, but I did get canceled over Brazilian media, from that video because
Oh
I mean,
no.
talking about everything's politicized, they kind of use it as a way to shit on the police
Mhm.
because a lot of the mainstream media there is also quite left, and they're not very
Mhm.
fond of the police as well. So yeah. But it also I'm also not I'm also proud of that video too because I think I executed it well. I didn't like expose or glorify the
Yeah, yeah.
cops. I approached it
Yeah,
in the
that's what I
way
was
that
gonna
I
say. You didn't
wanted to.
glorify him. Yeah. I think it's like you said, Brazil is like just America on steroids currently.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're. I mean, in my opinion, I think Brazil is. I mean, I think their leadership is much better now. They were very right wing, and they've pivoted the other way now. I think it's like a course correction,
Hmm.
and I'm hoping that they figure out and sort out their things. But Brazil is like just it's like Russia is too, just in a different way. America, but on crack. Like just down the line. At some point, less rich.
I'm curious. Or
Mhm.
sorry, I don't know, not to like change like topics or anything.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think one
Talk
thing I
about
was
whatever.
curious
That's what I want to do.
about, and it's something I'm like honestly confused about, is this whole kind of
Mhm.
like trans, or not trans, excuse me, a girl who was like the Olympics fiasco that's kind of
Mhm.
going on right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's happening? Like because for me, and I think a lot of people, they're kind of confused. I think I have had to correct myself. She's not trans. She was born
Yeah.
female, but also has XY chromosomes. I think a lot of people are
Yeah.
confused on what it is. I think a couple
I think
facts to
it's
get it
because
out is that she's been
yeah, yeah.
DQ'd at certain events before.
Mhm.
But then also Algeria, I don't think they would. I think they said it themselves. They won't put an athlete that's trans that will go against
Mhm.
their religion.
Mhm.
What's going on?
So my understanding, I read into it a lot. It seemed because I remember you were like you want to talk about it, so I was like I better read into more of this because I just assumed it was normal like transphobia type stuff of being like there's a lot of like conservatives in America, especially because trans panic is such a
Yeah.
thing, is like you know they are transvestigating is what it's called. Anyone, I mean, they transvestigated Taylor Swift. They're like, oh, she has a wiener. It's like, what are you talking about? Like they're so horny to like hate on trans people. And I think that this is like one of those situations that actually shows that there is no like definition. Like a woman is a woman. Like there's no way to define it
Mm.
because even biologically, and this is something you learn in like human, I forget what it's called. It's a class I took in college, like human anatomy, but like a higher level. I forget what it's called. But the way that chromosomes are measured is like, okay, you might have an X and an XX, but one of your X's might not have as many measurements or signs, and it might be closer to a Y, like 5 out of 10, or 6 out of 10, whatever they use, markers. And so then they just arbitrarily assign it or an X or a Y. There's like 48 variations of those. And so that ruling anyways was not proven true either. The IBA, all that said was that they had failed to do a test the correct way. And the second time they had found elevated levels of testosterone, which is normal in a lot of female athletes. Oftentimes why they're the top athletes in the world.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's like it's normal, right? It would be like something she was born with. Why would you disqualify someone who's born this way? She's been a woman her whole life. She can get pregnant. What difference does it make?
Yeah, it's confusing though, I think. But I guess I think you're right. I think a lot of probably conservatives like use it as like a way to dunk on trans people. And to be honest,
Yeah.
I think I kind of got wrapped up by that. I thought it was like, oh wow, I guess this is like a trans athlete. In which my
Yeah.
opinion, I don't think they should be fighting against biological women. But I'm curious to hear your
Mhm.
take on that too. What is your opinion on that? I'm coming from like a
Science.
perspective of being a former athlete, but I'd
Yeah, of
love to
course.
hear your take too.
Yeah, I mean, I wrestled my whole life until I was like 20 or 19 or whatever. And then, I mean, like when I was young, I used to wrestle, you wrestle anybody when you're a little kid and it didn't matter. And I still really think that if you look into the science of like people who transition, no one's going to transition just to win. That would be like giving yourself, a giant handicap because when you go on HRT, hormone replacement therapy, let's say if you are male transitioning to female, are going to lower your testosterone levels below even a like biological cis woman. Like you're going to have less testosterone. Your stamina is going to be less than a natural born, cis woman. Like you are going to perform worse than most people. Obviously, you can't undo like skeletal changes, and that's a whole different thing. But when tested for it, they find out that like 6 months of HRT puts you almost identical to a natural born woman. And that's like been studied. I think it was like a study of like 2,500 people.
But that's still a pretty small sample size, though, right? In the sense, like it's
Yeah,
also
of
kind of
course.
a relatively
Yeah.
newer phenomenon. Like, can we really reliably trust that data? I mean, like
Yeah, yeah.
at the end of the day, like I also have like I guess anecdotal stuff, right? Like, so
of
maybe we
course.
can base off that. Like, I played soccer
Mhm.
growing up, and I played like
Mhm.
at a pretty high level. I used to play for like the academy of like the
Mhm.
Timbers. It's like an MLS team in Portland,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we played like the women's team. Like they had like a bunch of Olympians, World Cup winners,
Yeah, yeah.
like the professional team of Portland. And look, I was
Mhm.
under 16, right? So I couldn't even drive to
Yeah.
their practice game, and we won like 6-1, right? So
Mhm.
like that's one example of like how much I guess like gender does matter in terms of like
Yeah.
sports. So I'm not like saying that your study is like a lie or anything, but I wonder how reliable the data is, and also just you know I think also
Mhm.
testosterone maybe not might not like account for everything too, right?
Of
Like you
course. Yeah,
talked
I
about and
don't
as
think
you were
no.
going into, like the skeletal changes are quite different.
Yeah, but also you have to remember at the time you weren't on HRT. Nobody on your team was on HRT. You had testosterone pumping through your body. Your stamina is going to be higher,
Mhm.
everything against women who don't have that. And somebody who is on HRT. Okay, here's a question. Why don't we hear about it the other way then? There is sports that women excel at. There is like certain sports or certain like,
Better than men?
you know, athletics women excel at. Yeah, like a lot of gymnastics or things like that. Why do we not see it the other way, right?
Well,
Because it's
I mean, to be fair, I think even male gymnastics are better than female gymnastics. I mean, it's also hard because a lot of it is scored subjectively too, right? Or no,
course, yeah,
there
and
must be.
I'm not using gymnastics. I don't mean like gymnastics as in like doing the flips or jumping around. I'm talking about like flexibility or things like that that do come with, the changes in your body, right? Field hockey. There's a few things that women are better at, right?
I don't agree with that. Do you think there's a sport where women can do it better than men, like in general?
Maybe not like, yeah, but I'm saying like aspects of a sport, not a whole entire sport, because sports are tailored towards men. They always have been. Women were meant to stay home. That was like historically, sports were set up by men for men to compete, while women takes, home and take care of the kids.
But do you think it's like sports in general are just geared towards men? Isn't it more so just kind of human
Yes.
movement?
Well,
Because, for
that is
example, right, like some sports were made for maybe a specific region or like a country, but then there might be other countries that do the sport a lot better, but may have like haven't had more time to do it. Like for example, England came up with soccer, but they're not the best country when it comes to that. So I don't know. I know that's not like the same argument, but I don't think that you could use that as an argument.
Well, no, the argument is that the sports when they were designed with men in mind, right? There is skills we agree in the world that women are better at usually, right? Like there is skills that women are better at, and we do
Yeah,
not
for
like
sure.
tailor sports around those, right? Like shooting, actually, shooting is one where a Korean lady just won.
Hmm.
And that would be an example of like maybe a skill that women are better at. We don't test those skills that women are better at in such a big environment, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
Because
guess.
women are better at some things than us. Like
Yeah,
there's
I
no
get
there
your
is
argument, but I think it's just more so sports are also just human movement, right? I don't think it's also fair to say it's just made for men. Like, yes, I think back then it was like more so men that participated in it, and like
Mhm,
women haven't had as much of a time to do it, just
mhm.
pure historically. But
Yeah.
sports at the end of the day is human movement, right?
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree that sports are human movements in the way that we see it today, 100%.
Mm.
But I don't think the point was like trans athletes.
Yeah.
Still, I once again don't think it makes a difference because a man who is transitioning, right, is never ever going to have the same amount of testosterone as a natural born woman, because an HRT, you literally suppress it while replacing it with estrogen, flooding your body, which diminishes your ability to perform by like an insane percentage. Yes, your skeletal might be better, but those disadvantage now of stamina, which is like well documented. Stamina, there was a study of like 120,000 or more, like kids all over the world. Like Messi, I think, had to take HRT as a
He
child
did.
because he actually, was so underdeveloped. It affects not having enough testosterone in your body as a, cis woman even affects your stamina incredibly. So can't you see that maybe that balances out? Yeah, their shoulders might be broader, but they're going to last 3 rounds less. Everyone in sports has a different biological advantage because I believe somebody is born trans, that is how they are born, with that brain, with that body, with whatever. If they need to do whatever to feel the way that they are, that's the treatment that's required. But the reality is Michael Phelps was born a genetic freak. Doesn't build lactic acid. He has an extended torso, a giant wingspan. He's essentially like an X-Men. He's a fucking mutant. We shouldn't let him participate if we're going to ban people who are participating because that's the way they were born.
Yeah, but I think I hear that argument, right? Because for example, the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's fucking
Yeah,
7 feet, fast as hell, can dunk from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
free throw line. But like, I don't think that's the same argument though in this trans debate, right? Because I think in this instance, I think also age matters a lot. I think that IOC even prohibits trans women. So I get these mixed up sometimes. I think
No, you're
if they
okay.
transition before 13, they can, but I think if it's afterwards, they can't. Like there must be a reason for that, right? And what's usually like
Yeah.
the round of age of 13? It's puberty. I think once you
Yep.
go through puberty, you're gonna have tremendous advantages over a woman. That's why me as a 15-year-old who maybe only had like what 3-4 years after puberty
Yeah.
was still able to beat grown women in their sport, right? That's had more experience, more professional experience at that, and do so. I guess another example is, why do you also never see maybe like, so I guess a woman transitioning into a man being able to compete, let's say like in the NBA?
I think because like you said, they have to start from a young age. Had they done it from a young age, then they'd probably be thinking. Also, I think there is like, I'm pretty sure there is female to male athletes as well.
Who?
Also, we never seem to. I can't remember name. The reason is because they don't get media attention, right? The only reason you hear about Leah Thompson is because Leah Thompson won one race.
Leah Thomas.
That's true. Yeah, Leah Thomas only won one really big race, but got beaten all the other time. Not even a top-ranked swimmer at all in the world, but won one big race, and then all of a sudden becomes a media frenzy.
I think what was interesting about that case though is like, I think when Leah Thomas was a dude, like he was like the 200th ranked swimmer or something, but then had a dramatic increase once she transitioned and started competing with women. So I think
But that was proven
I
to-
agree that like, yeah, maybe they don't get as much media attention, but I feel like, since like kind of like recently, there has been definitely like a explosion when it comes to, I guess, like people transitioning, just number wise. Why have we not really seen like a girl transitioning to a man being able to compete in these arenas?
Most of the time, they're forced to participate with other women. That's one true. Like a lot of wrestling women have been forced to compete with other women even after they transition because once again, society views women. We live in like a patriarchy. Like there's no doubt in our world being very catered towards men, designed by men. Men write most of the laws, determine most of things, sports especially. Like even like the WNBA. Like I'm pretty sure most of the officials for that are literally men that like write the rules and make these regulations. So a big reason that women who then try to come into the boys club, male sports, are oftentimes told you're not part of the boys club, right? That's a struggle all trans people have.
But then why do we see it then in the instances of the woman? I mean, yes, maybe you can make. Do you think the patriarchy is an argument here?
Of course, yeah, because trans people feel the patriarchy no matter what, right? If I'm a dude and I decided, or I was born trans and I start to transition, most other men are gonna be like, bro, you're like leaving the boys behind. But if I'm a woman and I go the other way, it's like, what do you mean? You're a chick. Like you're not gonna be able to hang out with us. And that is a real thing throughout history. We understand that women are told to like stay home, make the kitchen. Obviously, things have gotten better.
So I'm not denying that like there's absolutely even like nepotism and cases like that in sports and politics. I mean, no offense, but like for example, Bronny James' son, if he wasn't LeBron James' son, he wouldn't even be in the conversation.
Yeah, didn't he have like a heart attack too?
Yeah, and he's honestly, in my opinion, not really that good of a player. But and so like that absolutely exists, but we also have to like see it in the realm of competitiveness, right? A lot of times like these coaches, teams, they're absolutely incentivized by continuing to win. So in these instances, right, why do we not see that? Because like if they're really driven by like winning, that's kind of one of the biggest equalizers of sports, is that they're driven by that, right? That's why in the NBA, right, although it used to be extremely segregated, once those gates were kind of open, now you see why there's predominantly more black male athletes, because in general, they're better at basketball, right? You see the same thing with like football. So if that's the case, even if that can like transcend like racism and stuff, why have we not seen that then, of that barrier being crossed of a woman transitioning into a man and being able to be allowed in the NBA? Do you see my argument there? Like,
yeah, of course.
Because I agree that there are barriers, but in this instance, I feel like oftentimes people will prioritize winning as an incentive if that's the case. Because if a girl that comes in, let's say her name was LeBron James, but then became LeBron James and is dropping 50, bro, no one's not picking her up.
I think we're using a hyper-specific example of that. The only disagreement I have is that the NBA is like a hyper-specific thing. You have to be really tall. You have to be really fast. And usually you have to start from like the time you're 8. Just like soccer, actually. You have to start when you're a young child. The problem is like most trans people struggle in childhood because of social acceptance, governmental help, whatever, parents, anything. So they can't dedicate a lot of their life to these sports in the same way that like a young, Messi could. Even though Messi was, small and actually had to take HRT, or even LeBron. They can't dedicate that because their time is dedicated to, I don't know, trying to survive, fit in, right? So there's a bunch of other things because like I'm somebody who's like a materialist. Like I believe someone's material conditions shape a lot of like where they're going to be, what they believe, and how they are. And the material conditions of a trans person are vastly different than like me or you, right? They're going to struggle with people not believing them. They're going to struggle with, you know, society rejecting them. They're going to struggle with all these things. Because like a big point of contention is like, you've probably heard this, like detransitioners, right? Have talked about is like, oh, we ignore the detransitioners, right? The reality is that out of all of the detransitioners, which is like less than 1%, 90% of that 1% or 80% of that 1% are people who detransitioned because of social pressure or financial means. So then it's like less than 1% of 1% of people who detransition realize they made a mistake. So the point is like the people that are forced to detransition now are social pressure. That must show that there's a giant amount of social pressure on trans people, so much so that obviously a lot of trans people commit suicide and a lot of trans people like just have to like give up. They can't live the life they want to. And so that's another pressure that they can't focus on basketball, they can't focus on golf, whatever it may be. They can't focus on
But if we're gonna use the
same
same
degree.
factors, right? Like, then why are we seeing
Mhm.
then women that transition into men like a lot more? Like, yes, maybe you can point to media attention, but like, I think it'll be pretty big news too in at least any of these like kind of more relevant sports if this thing happened, right? Even if it's like
Mhm.
swimming. Like, let's be honest, swimming isn't really relevant until this year, right? When it's Olympic
Yeah, yeah.
season,
Well,
right?
Michael Phelps, remember, Michael Phelps run when I was a kid was huge
Right.
everywhere, every news. Yeah.
Right. But like, well, I guess
So
like what I'm trying to say is, don't you think we would have at least like heard about it? I understand like, yes, there are probably more so conservative leaning people who'd want to dunk on stuff like
Mhm.
this, but I think we would have heard by now. And I know you're like, you know, you're making those like arguments around like those different factors, but aren't those factors equalized for a woman transitioning into a man and a man transitioning into a woman? Like Leah Thomas,
No,
like
because
he was doing swimming for his entire life, I assume.
I think it's a perfect storm, like because if you're a traditionalist, right? Be a traditionalist woman,
Mhm.
traditionalist man, seeing a it's a very easy layup, right? Like it's a very easy thing to be like, this dude's hitting girls, right? Or whatever. Or this dude is beating girls in whatever thing, and it gets a lot of sensation. It's sensationalist. That's all it is. I truly believe that like there is probably I mean, we can look at the stats. I don't remember what it is, but the reason that there is such a big highlight is yeah, it's media's focus on this because it's a really good culture war issue, right?
I agree,
They're
but I
manufacturing
feel like we would have
consent.
at least heard of something if, you know, like I guess
We
like what
have
I'm
though.
trying
There
to.
was there's a famous wrestler, right? Like there's a I
Mhm.
forget I cannot remember her name right now. Leah Thomas was so dominating the mainstream, but there is a famous wrestler, and I can't remember. Also, there was a
I
UFC
think
fighter,
he went to Harvard, right? I think I know who you're talking about.
maybe,
Yeah.
but I can't remember. There was one that was like supposed to be an Olympian. Um, there was a trans person that was supposed to be an Olympian, but they were going to be forced to wrestle against women, but they had transitioned and they didn't. They were like, this isn't what's right.
Hmm.
And they would have been an Olympian, but I can't remember. But that stuff gets one article compared to Leah Thomas because Leah Thomas makes conservatives. One thing we do know: older people lean conservative, right? Usually, on average, older people in America and the Western world have more money, right? So by conservative grifting, you're more likely to make more money, right? If I lean to the right, those people have money, expendable income to give me.
I've talked
It's a
to
much
people who
larger.
run like, sorry to interrupt. I talked to people
Yeah, go
who
ahead.
run like automated faceless channels, and they say like
Yeah,
to make content for the right because they'll make more money. So yeah,
yeah.
sorry, just wanted to add that. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, of course, and I think that's why it's such a big focus, right? Is that's true, right? Is older people who are retired, they don't have to be retired. They just have more disposable income, are going to be more likely to give you money or whatever, buy your merch, whatever your fucking mug club. If you grift to their side and validate their feelings, their conservative feelings, and conservatives have decided to focus on
But
trans athletes.
but who runs media more? Like for example, right? I
Well,
think more so it's like I think they feel I think what you're like seeing is that a lot of these people maybe that have created a market for themselves and want to like donate is because they probably feel very underrepresented in like a lot of mainstream outlets. So for example, for conservatives, like the default is Fox News. But for like the left,
okay, yeah.
there's a lot more. There's CNN, there's MSNBC, Vox.
Mhm.
There's so many. BuzzFeed, right? So I think it's more so a consequence of maybe people not feeling underrepresented. And I think
Mhm.
like the right in terms of independent people have like filled that hole a lot more. That's why I think Twitter right now is like a lot more right, because you know it's changed from what Twitter used to be in terms of like freedom of speech and all that.
Yeah, but we also discredit local news. Local news is dominant, and no local news is incredibly conservative. Like it's all owned by Sinclair Media, which is directly a subsidy. They donate to tons of right wing think tanks, and they are a right wing dominant thing. And
Mhm.
Sinclair Media is like who owns the most local news in the United States, I think.
But in
And
general, who do
a
you
lot of
think
old people
like
consume it.
is more represented in media and culture and arts? I think the left does a way better job than that.
Yeah, because they're populist, right? They appeal to a popular thing, like liberals do. I'm not a liberal, so
Yeah.
I don't.
Actually, if you don't mind, can you like describe like a little bit of your political side? Like, what would you describe
Yeah,
yourself as?
I'm a socialist. Yeah,
Socialist.
100%.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm a progressive. I'm somebody who believes in free healthcare, free housing. I think I'm somebody who believes that, we live in a post-scarcity world. There is no such like there is no reason that somebody should ever go homeless. There's no reason somebody should ever go hungry or without medical care.
Hmm.
Right? Where we make enough food in the United States alone to feed the entire continent of Africa. The moment someone starves, essentially it's like we've shot them. Like who cares? Like they should never starve. There should be that shouldn't be a thing that exists. We may have, I think, 16 million empty homes that are empty but livable with electricity, with everything near population centers, and we have 1 million homeless people. We should easily be able to fill them.
But
Like I have all these beliefs built on material reality.
But don't you think also it sometimes ignores like human nature? Like for example, let's say like we want to hire
Okay.
more people to make that
Mhm.
more of a reality. When it becomes like their job, right? When you can make like, for example, in San Francisco, 6 figures from dealing with like the homeless problem, are you properly incentivized to really end the problem? I think that's also a big problem that's happened
Yeah, of
in.
course, but that's the cycle of capitalism, right? Line must go up.
Hmm.
You have to keep making more money. If the problem incentivizes it because that's what we're told. That's like kind of an American idea too, right?
So
America
yeah.
has like hyper individualism. I'm actually working on a video right now about like doomsday preppers, and that's
That's funny.
such a unique American thing.
I'm about to go film one and on Monday. So that's interesting.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
making a big video about it right now from finding like social media influencers. And like a little bit, I'll tell you a little bit about it, but a lot of it is about like a grift that televangelists did back in the day.
Mm.
Super similar that I
Interesting.
discovered while I was making this video. But yeah, it's like we're very individualist in America.
I
We're very
agree.
much on this idea. Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm Japanese. So I
Yeah.
speak it. I've been there many times. Like if America's individualism is here, like Japan is here when it comes to, I guess, communal.
Yeah.
So I think
My
that
brother's Vietnamese.
Oh, interesting. So I think that brings up a
So
really interesting point, because I think in some aspects socialist policies work.
Mhm.
When I think whether this is like unfortunate or not, I think when people are homogenous in that society. So for example,
Okay.
I
Okay.
think the fact that this is the unfortunate reality, we're tribal people. The fact that Japanese people are purely Japanese, like I am probably pure 100% Japanese, and for
Okay.
many years we were very isolationist.
Mm-hmm.
Similar things to Denmark, Sweden, right? Those socialist policies, I feel like work when the people look the same and when the culture is also very conducive to that. I think
Okay.
usually community gets built when people look the same. It's an unfortunate reality. I'm all for diversity. Like, don't get me wrong on that,
Yeah,
right?
of
Like,
course,
let's not get that twisted. Do you think socialist policies can work in the U.S. though? Because
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
Here's my question. What makes culture?
I
We
think
have a little bit of philosophy.
years of traditions, ways of doing
But like,
things, customs.
okay, so okay, customs. But why do you do those customs? Like what's the number one? Here's one. Why is it that like in America, like when we think of like soul food or like black cuisine, it's often done with like cheap ingredients. It's done, they like wash their chicken, they take extra care of certain things to avoid like getting sick. Why do they do that?
Well, I guess
That's
culture
like
also
part of
comes
black
from
culture.
hard moments.
Culture is purely defined by how much wealth you had, right? You do things because things were hard, right? You're not innate. There's like obviously not a genetic component because like we've seen people who are like you in America, very American, right? Individualist thought or whatever. There is a very well drawn line between wealth and culture, or like material conditions is what leftists, people who have read Marx would call it. Is material conditions define your culture. And the way to make a homogenous society is one in which everyone has similar material conditions, right? I'm not saying we take all your money or whatever. That's not what I believe as a socialist. I just purely believe that you can't do anything alone. People, as much are naturally greedy, as like a lot of people say, are also naturally very giving. Otherwise, we would still live in caves. Like we got out of caves and built society. There was no capitalism. There was no, money. We did it because we want to get the fuck out of the cave. We wanted to come up together. We had to band together. Animals do it. There's no money, right? We are a social creature. We have to cooperate to grow. And I think socialism, right? Because I've read a ton of like all the different projects, all the different theorists that have, tried it or, came up with the ideas, have a very clear understanding that like, if we keep going the way that we are, we will end up right back where we started in feudalism. We kind of are there, right? Jeff Bezos employs so many people that tomorrow, if he was like, hey, you know what? I quit. You're all fired. It would destroy the United States economy. Like that many people. It would put us in a recession. He is essentially a feudal lord because he can just decide to fire you. And he's so incredibly wealthy that no one's going to be able to do anything. You have no recourse, He'll just keep you in court forever. He is a king. Yeah. Right. And that is wrong.
I know you're using it as an example, but there's obviously checks and balances for that too, right? He obviously has a board of directors. I don't even know how involved he is on the day to day when it comes to Amazon. Of course, yeah. I know you're just using it as an example, but I think it's also overly simplistic to kind of break it down that way because just like any system, there's checks and balances, right? Like capitalism.
But what is the balance to a business doing that though? The board could decide. Let's say those 5 people decide for 100,000 people, employed people. That's still not fair.
True, but life isn't fair. You know what I mean? Like
it can be.
Go on.
But life can be fair. That's
but
a false notion.
Is that realistic? Like human nature wise?
Yeah, of course.
Like, I agree that to a certain extent that like humans are generous, but I also think that humans are quite selfish. And I think that's also what capitalism kind of plays into, right? Is like
so why don't
excessive
we should limit that
a lot of people can also benefit from. Because why do socialist policies sometimes why do they not work? Because people are greedy and people take advantage of that system where, it can also lead to just a rule by the few who are reaping the benefits of everyone while everyone is actually brought down.
Why do we reward that system though? Why do we reward those people? Because right now we live in a system that rewards greed. Why don't we create a system that there's no benefit? You can be greedy all you want. Yeah. In a socialist system, you can be greedy. You can own a business, right? Everything. I think there's a misconception, right? Because there's different kinds of socialism.
Because socialism isn't like directly a communism, right? Like if you want to break that
down. No, because communism is utopian, right? Like that's what we're striving towards, obviously. But like I understand as a person, it's not like a real like, that's not ideal. Like that's not going to ever happen.
Yeah. I think you and
I think the idea. Yeah, but well. All communism says is like your life is taken care of. You can do whatever you want. If you want to be an artist, go be an artist. Who cares?
Because there's no group of 100 sample size of people who would ever act that way.
But there is communism is based on a real thing that occurred. Communes were a thing throughout history.
But at scale, right? Okay, so sorry. Maybe I'll take that back.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. That's why it's utopian, right? That's why it's utopian. Socialism has like one main thing that I think people misunderstand because in America, especially, like, listen, I grew up around Nazis. I grew up in northern Idaho, which has like literally the Aryan Nation. If you've ever heard of like those people, they like would go to Nazi summer camp. I got handed like flyers.
Did you go?
That said like, no. My brother was Vietnamese. Literally, my brother was like, if you ever go near those, he's 10 years older than me. He's my half brother, and he was like, if you ever go near those people, I will beat your ass. And my grandparents actually, they lived all around the world. So they lived in Japan, they lived, all over, they lived in the Philippines. They made me not be racist from a young age. And they were like, hey, listen, like, these people have this idea because they're scared, right? And that they're preying on the fear of the world ending or whatever. But anyways, it doesn't matter what I'm starting to say. Socialist, there's like a lot of people who claim to be socialist, but are just trying to prey on the idea of like populist ideas, right? Hitler did it, whatever, Mussolini, they preyed on it. But those people are just using socialist populist talking points without, really ever reading it or understanding it. And that's what we're taught in America. A real socialist is somebody who purely believes that labor should be owned by everybody. Meaning, if I own a factory, right? Let's say I own a pencil factory and I employ you, right? How much do you think you're entitled to?
I mean, it's market value, skill level.
Okay, but so okay, let's say before I can make 100 pencils, I employ you. Now I can make 200 pencils. How much are you worth?
I mean, like I said, it needs to be external. Like, who is also my competition? Who else is willing to do it? Maybe there's a illegal immigrant who can do it a lot cheaper, but it can actually
You're right.
work even harder. I mean, I know you're just giving a scenario, but
Yeah,
I
of
know damn
course.
sure I
But
can't make more than you if you're the owner.
so in a fair world, though, you would be entitled to 50%,
But
right?
no, in a fair world, the owner needs to get paid most, because it's not just
Why?
because he's also assuming risk. He's also maybe buying the factory that allows me
Yeah.
to work there. So there's risk
Okay.
involved. There's overhead, and
Okay.
he also needs it so he can also profit and then expand in other areas. Like,
What
in a
risk?
fair world,
Okay,
that's
but
the only fair way to go about it. For you as an
don't you have
owner, you'll
risk?
never have an incentive to create that pencil factory if you can't make
Mhm.
more than your workers.
I have okay, but you have risk. You realize that as a worker. I can fire you and now you have all of that. You start at zero. What happens if I lose my factory? I go back to being a worker just like you. There's no difference. The risk is the same. Both of us risk
the risk
going
isn't the
back to a
same.
worker. You put in more. Okay, if I go to Vegas
Okay,
and I put $500 on black,
wait,
should
Carter.
I get
Actually,
paid for the
is
rest
it
of my
cool if
life?
I lay out a scenario? Like, do you have an editor?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Do you have an editor or
I
like
have
team members?
Yeah.
Do you pay them just as much as you pay yourself?
Yeah. 50%. Yeah, they get paid.
50%.
I do.
And
Well, not
then,
50. They do whoever, right? So I did merch. Everyone got, because there's 3 of us, 33%.
but
each of us.
what were they like directly involved with it? Like, were they like helping you with like the designs and
They
all
only
these
made the
different-
art.
Huh?
They only made the art. I
Okay,
did all the
I mean,
promo. I paid for all the
sure,
promo,
because
everything. But
it's your
they got 30% of all profits because I couldn't have done it without them.
Sure. Okay, let's see here. So you pay all your employees completely the exact same take home pay that you do every single time.
Anything that if I recognize that I couldn't have done something without them, right? Then they are entitled to that because I wouldn't have done it without them. Does that make sense? That's fair.
True,
I
but
can't, if I am not a watch, or if I make watches and I want to sell more watches, any watches I sell over what my own personal ability was, I couldn't have done without them. They're entitled to that labor value.
true, but like, let's say in this instance, let's just bring it back to like something very practical, which is like, let's say your channel and what you do with like content. The fact of the
Yeah.
matter is, you're not replaceable, but they are. You can
Okay.
find another editor. You can find
You're right,
someone
they
who's
should be-
another designer.
Yep.
So in that sense, as you, as Carter, there's never going to be another Carter, especially in this content
course.
world, right? I can't do what
Yep.
you do. I can't.
Mhm.
And you can't do what I do. So you're going to be infinitely more valuable market wise. So, I mean, good for you if you are paying if it is true and you are paying your editors, your designers.
Yeah, I mean, if people don't want to believe me, they can message both of them.
No, of course. I'm not saying I don't believe
Devin
you.
Art and a guy named Excedra. Yeah, you can ask them.
But do you
They saw
also
all the
have like
financials.
other? Okay, I guess in this instance, you probably also place different sorts of value on the different sorts of labors that is involved in running a channel, right? So maybe you sometimes have contracted one person to do like a banner, but then another designer
Uh-huh.
for like a logo, and then both of those people, they might charge you different amounts. Why is that?
Because they live in capitalism. Of course they are. They're going to assess their value labor different than I am.
But do you
They're
think that's just
designing
the
their own labor
capitalism
value.
thing? Because even in socialist countries like Japan and Sweden, there's still a capitalist system.
But they're not socialist. Japan is incredibly.
Okay,
Japan is.
what would you say is the
very
most
capitalist.
socialist country?
Probably like China's the closest. Yeah,
They're
China's
the
special
second
economic
biggest
zones.
economy in the world.
Yeah, but they have special economic zones, right? If you're outside of those special zones where like Apple makes their shit or like Samsung or whoever uses their factories, There's like very socialist there's no homeless, you know,
Do
things
you
like
think
that.
China will be at its economic size if it wasn't a capitalist system? Do you think they would have
Yeah, I
been
think
able to
Deng
get
no, I
like
think
people
Deng
out of
saved
like
China.
abject poverty if the whole country was socialist? The reason why, like you said, like the capitalist zones, why do we know those cities compared to like these zones that are more so socialist? For example, like Hong Kong is the finance capital of China. Why are they known? Why do people all around China also want to move there?
Of course, because socialism is a transitionary state, right? Deng Xiaoping said something really funny once. He said, "A capitalist will sell you the rope and you will hang them with it." And the reason is because in a capitalist world where America dominates, if you try to be socialist, you end up like Cuba. You end up like Vietnam. You end up like Venezuela. You end up sanctioned. You end up cut off, whatever. You must play the game to then win the game, right? If you don't play, you don't win.
Hmm.
Right? So Deng Xiaoping said that exact thing. Also, I think Deng was a terrible leader. Actually, China does bad shit all the time, but it does not mean that they aren't working towards socialist policy. I don't think any state is good. I think all nations and states do bad things. Leaders are bad, you know, bureaucracy can be evil, right? But I believe China has way more like workers in control than America. Because I don't want to be controlled by somebody who's just a landlord. Like I don't want to be controlled by somebody who's a business owner.
But
you know?
yeah. Let me see. I guess why did you move to Australia then? I know you mentioned like your partner. Is
Yeah,
there a
that's the only
reason
reason.
why you didn't want to move to like let's say a socialist country?
Yeah, because family. The reason most people do that is like you want to be close to she wants to be close to her family. So I would come here to be close to her family because like she values that. She was close to my family for the last few years. That's like the same reason like people always
Sure.
like, "Oh, you hate America, you know, if
No,
you're
no.
socialist, just
Yeah.
leave." Right? People say that. But I think I'm socialist because I want America to be better. Like I love America. I think it had like you said it's diverse, you know. We have all these cool places. Like I've been to almost every state. Almost. And I think America is amazing. I think it's something, and I think our biggest issue is the idea that like, you know, we divide or we treat people differently, or we like, you know, immigrants were like, oh, you know, you're not real, blah blah blah. Like these people all want to make America great. Like no one
Yeah.
disagrees with the idea of like
But
we
I
need to
think
be a great
I
place.
think what you're mentioning though isn't just an America problem. There's tribalism everywhere. I mean, you use
Yeah,
China as an example. China has a
yeah,
huge social class issue, right?
yeah.
Like it's nothing different. I think that's where like I think where maybe we can agree that this whole tribalism thing is also a human nature thing. So that's also why I think a lot of socialist and communist policies don't work because it ignores the
Mhm.
reality that we do like to divide, that we do like to see each other differently. That even if we all look the same, if we all look like
Uh-huh.
you, Carter, like the exact same head,
Uh-huh.
exact same, or
Yeah.
maybe we all look like Gen and my big ass forehead, right? We'll still find
Yeah, yeah.
ways to divide each other. Maybe it's like, oh, people who wear
Yeah, yeah.
red are low class, or you know, people who wear beanies are way better. Like we will still find ways to divide and conquer each other, whatever it might be. Maybe it's like,
I
oh,
agree, we
he has
will.
only a 5 forehead. I have a 10 forehead. I'm better.
Mhm.
So sorry to like take up your, interrupt you, but what I'm trying to say is that
No,
we
you're good.
all have in our human nature that we are tribal, and that's why stereotypes exist. That's why, we have these survival mechanisms. That's essentially what it is, right? That's why, in my
Okay.
opinion, I don't think socialist policies work and can definitely not really work in a diverse country like America. But I can see why socialist policies can work in more like homogenous societies like Scandinavian
Yeah.
countries and Japan,
So
and even
once again
China.
though, but the point is like I see what you're saying. People naturally are tribal. We should not make that incentivized. We should not reward that, right? Slavery was a thing and it was easy because black people look different, right? When you just get rid of it, then you help to mediate that gap by treating people differently based on how they look, how they act, whatever. And all as a socialist I say is that like, listen, if we can make everyone have a way better baseline of living, housing, healthcare, food, right? If those are guaranteed, because we have more than enough money to do it.
Mhm.
There's, like I said, people who are like, oh, how are we going to afford this? There's already 15 million empty homes. No one lives there. No one's doing anything. They're just fucking empty. There is more than enough food to feed an entire continent besides ours, and healthcare. It's why don't we just pay doctors more or, make it easier to go to school? College should be free. The college is a speculative thing anyways. It doesn't matter. Like those things are not like, oh, who's going to pay for it? It's such a dumb argument because it already exists. We've already overproduced for nothing. We've overproduced at like the speculation of holding it to manufacture scarcity.
Mm-hmm. So
the point is, if we give all people those three things, we level the ability to be discriminatory a lot, right? It's a lot harder to make someone a slave when they have guaranteed housing. It's a lot harder to make someone, take a shitty job doing whatever or getting paid less and not fight for their labor rights when they can go home and eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they have to have a fucking mansion. No one's saying that,
I agree. Yeah. So, but I think again, I think it just goes back to, I think what we see different as what's truly realistic, right? Okay, so let me maybe use, like, for example, Brazil as an example. They do have some socialist policies in the sense that they have free healthcare. And Brazil is incredibly diverse, just like the US.
Yeah.
And in fact, in many ways, probably even more diverse because, like Brazilians are also very mixed as well, right? Like, they can have black in them, maybe even some Japanese.
Yeah.
All these things.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about the Afro Latino trade.
Right?
Yeah.
But their healthcare is also a mess. Like this
Yeah,
is
of
also
course.
just assuming that just because a socialist policy exists, that's going to be efficient, or that it's actually going to work. That's
You understand,
also,
but
I
you
think,
know why those systems.
that's also,
But
I
you know
feel
why
like, an
those systems
assumption that
suck.
you're making, that just because it's socialist that it's going to solve these problems. Because if that was the case, I think
course
that
not.
would have happened by now, right? I don't think.
No.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's just not a reality. It's not going to
But
work.
But it has, right? Cuba has a surplus of doctors, so much so that they send them all over the world. People have wrote thank you letters. Other countries have monuments to Cuban doctors, and Cuban doctors don't make that much money because healthcare is free and all of that. Those are people that are doing it because they want to. Cuba has a surplus of doctors. Cuba has a high life expectancy, a huge literacy rate. Yes, the quality of life in Cuba is much lower than a lot of other countries, but they are sanctioned out the ass, right? They are right off our coast. It's hard to even deliver stuff to them because that's come through American waters.
Yeah, that's why Cuban
There's a
cigars
bunch
are
of
illegal
rules.
here.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dumb rules around Cuba. But the example is like all these issues, like socialist medicine, let's say. But it's not socialist medicine. It's just single payer. Is not, if there is a capitalist alternative, all it takes. Let me give you an example of the national healthcare system, right? Like the national healthcare system in the UK is like oftentimes like shit on, right? You've heard that it's failing. You've probably heard all that shit. The reason for that is, and like we have books written about this, we have studies, is because a private person who has generational wealth, let's say, their money was made by being a landlord, for the last 100 years, their family. But they decide one of their sons wants to become a doctor. And because they have tons of money saved, capital from years, right? Whatever. They can just give you faster times because it's a smaller clinic, whatever, state-of-the-art care because not everyone can go there, whatever. They set arbitrary standards. They can do better healthcare while eating the loss, right? A private business. That makes the healthcare system that is national look bad, right? Do you And then once the National Healthcare Office has been shut down because they've changed public opinion, they've manufactured consent, they've manufactured an image, now your only option is to go to the private clinic. They can change their price to whatever they want. And now they dominate the market and you have no choice.
Okay, then let me give you an example. Canada is a country where you can't have private healthcare, right? It's only public healthcare. And it's a huge inefficiencies that they have in their national system. So I don't think that argument makes sense because there's a country right up north, or at least where I'm located, where many people aren't able to even get the healthcare that they need because they're not able to meet the demand or the care that people want. So a lot of people also even cross the border to pay out of pocket in order to get a surgery or different things like this. So that's also an example.
That's true. I know Canada has private healthcare because they have private hospitals. You can buy private insurance. Like I know that Canada does.
Maybe it was just Vancouver because I recently went to Vancouver and the people that we interviewed told me that you can't have private healthcare.
Yeah, you can. That's
Canada,
not true. Even in Australia.
Canadians, can you guys fact check that if I'm
Yeah, I
talking
have
on my ass
Canadians in my chat saying you can do it. Same with UK, you buy private, right? Also, like where I grew up in North Idaho, is right above Alberta. And it would happen both ways. Actually, like Americans would go up there sometimes to get obviously prescriptions cheaper or other things, like way cheaper, or basic appointments cheaper. But then if you had like, let's say a broken leg and you were Canadian and right across the border, they would fly you to the hospital in America or whatever, and they would treat you there. And then the Canadian government would just foot the bill. right? They would act as insurance.
Okay, interesting.
Right?
Yeah, maybe I got some like wrong information. Not
There's
to
multiple,
blame
yeah,
it on
multiple
them,
private hospitals even in Toronto. So, but yeah, I guess the point is like if you, okay, this is gonna sound funny if you haven't read it, I guess, but if you ever allow, this is like written by, I think Luxembourg, or maybe it was Lenin wrote that like if you allow capitalism to exist alongside socialism without actively fighting against it, pushing back on anything that is inelastic, so things that are necessities for you to live, the capitalists will always look to undermine the public system so that they can take more, right? It's a snake. It has to eat, it's Ouroboros. It's going to eat itself eventually, but it's got to keep eating. Line has to go up. Capitalists are infinite growth, right? Profits, quarterly profits have to go up. They have to go up. And the only way they can do that is by undercutting the public system, because that's a competitor, right? Capitalism is not a free market. The biggest hurt to my profits as a capitalist is competition, right?
But that's better for the public good though. When there is competition, that means that better products will come about. Whereas let's say if it was only just a governmental program, why is the fucking DMV system a piece of shit? Because there is no competitor to it. That's why a lot of government things are super inefficient. Is because there is no incentive to improve. There is no incentive to improve the product or service. So that results in a worse program for everyone. So, you know, again, in this instance, maybe like, you know, you gave the example of like England, and I think obviously Canada, I guess, you know, based on the fact check, seems like they also have private healthcare, but a lot of people also complain about the public healthcare for a reason, right? Those those things wouldn't even be an option if it was really good. So I think oftentimes, like when you just place it on the government where they don't really have an incentive to, you know, also be accountable, right? Because who's going to sue the governmental system? That's your only fucking option.
They're workers, right? If their workers are unionized,
yes,
they'll rise up because they use it.
Yes. So like workers can unionize, but like obviously that doesn't really happen that often too, right?
But it should though. That's my point, right? I'm an educationalist. Like obviously I understand that like socialism is not going to happen tomorrow. That's why I educated people about it. I'm like, you should all be collective, because you're right. The DMV, how do you improve the DMV? Well, DMV workers have to go to the DMV, and if they start getting tired of waiting in fucking line and it's shit, they're going to strike to demand more money to improve the DMV. It's a cycle of improvement, right? That's how.
But that's an incredibly inefficient, and that's more so a losing game, if anything, don't you think? Because it's more so like then if let's say like that's the only way you can enact change is with workers strike, then
yeah, that's democracy.
Of course, that's a part of democracy, right? Or you know, or is that democracy?
Yeah, it's a democratic workplace, right? If all the DMV workers decide management's doing like shit for one person,
democratic.
Any cooperative should be democratic. I believe in democratic workplaces. Cooperatives are the only way to do business in my world, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's unfair. I believe in like, you know, maybe I'm a not an altruist, but like, you know, I'm optimistic. I wish that everyone would get their labor value.
Maybe this is a straw man's argument, but do you think anything that we're using right now to even have this stream would exist if everything was a co-op? I think we'll be like,
of course.
You think so? You think the high speed?
Wouldn't I want to talk to my friend that I met in Japan?
I'm sorry?
I'd probably. So wouldn't you think that there would be people who met someone like in Japan or wherever that I would want to talk to, and we would probably develop systems to do that publicly?
But then what would be your incentive?
Also, the internet was developed with social spending.
Well, no, the internet came from the military.
Which is funded by who?
I mean, yeah, the government, yeah, but
socialist spending. That's so NASA, rockets, all this stuff was all done by social spending. The phones, social spending.
But I think the military is a bit different though, because there's also a different incentive structure, right? In this instance, you're competing against other militaries to be able to do so. That's why, for example, the local DMV doesn't have an incentive, because you're not competing against the world to do so. In this instance, like space, all that is publicly funded or socially funded, because you're also wanting to pool as many resources as possible to be able to compete against the world. So there is an incentive structure there. And that's why in that instance it works. That's why the US has the biggest and largest military, because you have an incentive system. When it's something like a small scale, like I guess we're going to use like the DMV as an example. There is no incentive to measure it against to be able to improve. That's why it's a universally shit experience for everyone involved. the workers
But
hate
there
it
is
too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like if we lived in a truly democratic society, right? We don't live in democracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There would be an easy way for me to go to my local, town, whatever, and cast a ballot, for a ballot measure that's like we're going to, modernize the DMV. Because like here in Australia, you walk in, hit a touchscreen, you wait, right? It takes you wait a little bit, like anywhere, because there's a ton of people. There's not enough workers to do it because the state is underfunding them, just like in America. It's a matter of funding, right? We could take, an extra 10 billion we give to building an aircraft carrier and put it towards the DMVs across the United States, right? That would be way better than.
But more
bombing
funding
under
also
brown
isn't the
kids.
answer, right? For example, California spent what, like billions on homelessness. One, they don't even know
Funding
where
with
some of the money
accountability.
went, and then it also increased it. So like
Right.
again, more funding isn't the answer if you don't have accountability or incentives behind it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what obviously, but like as a socialist, like I understand that accountability is tied into that, right? Like I understand that if the world is going to improve, that all the workers will be a part of that, right? They're going to be a union. They're going to have that it will be transparent because they have to be, because that's how democracy functions, right? Like, because I don't believe in like single ownership of anything that can't be just undone with one democratic vote. Because it's one or the other, right? It is either a tyranny of the minority or a tyranny of the majority. One is called democracy and one is called fascism, inevitably. So, because republics eventually, unfortunately, lead to those people have a lot of power. They have a say for thousands or millions of people. Even they are fallible. Republics were a really good thing when we didn't have the internet, but we can instantly communicate. I can instantly find something out, about, I could talk to you thousands of miles away instantly.
Do you think the
So-
solution then, just to kind of like maybe just change
Yeah.
the topic a little bit, do you feel like the
No, you're
solution
good.
is more government in terms of solving problems, societal
Everyone should be
problems,
the government.
more
Yes.
government spending, more government bureaucracy? What do you
No-
think?
more government. I think more government accountability. I think we have plenty of money. We spend in America as much taxes as Australia with getting none of the benefits. No free healthcare, no free college, any of that shit. Yeah, of course. But I believe everyone should be the government, because when everyone becomes the government ceases to exist.
Can you
And then
explain that a
everyone's
little
for
bit more?
free.
Like, how would that work?
Anyone who works for anything eventually becomes anything that is essential. I'm a socialist, right? So I'm describing like socialist theory and an end state. In State and Revolution, Lenin writes that everyone will eventually become the government, and at that point, the borders dissolve, the government dissolves, because we are all equal. Every man is entitled to their own. You're free to do whatever you want. Your housing is taken care of, your food is taken care of, whatever. Because at the one point, we're all the government. We all have equal say. The government has all the power. Well, we have the power individually. No one person should hold the levers of power above someone else.
So
Right?
then how do decisions get made without it being
Democratically, you put it to a vote, right? So you put out a ballot or something. Obviously, that's utopian, right? We understand that.
right?
The real solution is like
I guess that's what I want to
You
hear
know-
is like, what do you think is like a realistic solution? I think that's kind of like what
working towards that, right? So
Mm.
working towards creating bigger groups of people with just as much power, with limiting the levers of action, right? If I'm in a co-op and all the workers are together, or a union, let's do a union. My manager cannot fuck me as hard because all my brothers and my sisters in that union are going to have my back. So if he wants to fire me just because he doesn't like that I'm, a white guy, or that, if I was whatever, I showed up 5 minutes late, the rest of my workers going to be like, bro, I'm 5 minutes late. Sometimes they're going to have my back and they'll all quit. And then that manager or that owner makes no money. And we together have the power because there's more of us.
I'm sorry, but is that realistic? Do you think someone who
100%,
needs to
you need
feed their
this all
family
over.
just because you were fired, they're gonna quit their job so they can support you?
They would hope that I would do the same in a just world, right? That
Yeah,
real.
but
I've
it's not
met
a just
plenty of
world.
people.
It's unfortunate because maybe just like how a manager may mistreat you, can't you see that like a fellow worker of yours might mistreat you and stab you in the back as well?
Of course, but he won't have the power, right? Because there's still many of us.
Okay, so then in this instance, why would anyone want to become a manager? Are they going to be paid the same as the worker?
They wouldn't. No, yeah, a manager would be paid the same as a worker, but they would lose.
So then
like,
what would be the
their
incentive for
labor.
that? And then who
What do
would
you mean?
who would like make like the managing decisions? Everybody makes it together? What if it's a decision being like, "Oh, you know what? We actually didn't get enough revenue this year, so we need to let some people go." Who's going to make that decision? Is it going to be a
You
vote?
vote on it.
Cuz then if you're going to
Yes.
vote on it, then what? Then how are you going to decide on that criteria? right? You're probably going to stack
Democracy.
rank, oh, who's actually produced most? Well, Carter produced 200 pencils per hour, but
Yep.
you know, Gen over here only did 100. Who are they going to pick?
Probably you, yeah. Because I generated the most value for us together, collectively, that we
Exactly.
reap the
So then you
benefit.
should be compensated for that. Or in this instance, if you think everyone should be paid the same,
I am.
you should
That's
at
what I'm
least
saying.
get that benefit of staying in the company.
Oh, I think okay, so okay, there's the
Right?
misunderstanding, right? If I make 200 pencils and you make 100, right?
Mhm.
I would get paid for those 200 pencils. That's my fair labor value. And you would get paid for your 100.
Amazing. That's
Right?
capitalism.
No, it's not, because there's plenty of people who make 100. CEO of Apple, the CEO of, whatever company, the manager does less work than me but makes more.
No, but it's different values of work. Strategic work.
Okay, but that value is indeterminate.
Look,
That's
there's
speculative.
unfortunately, but there's thousands of, let's say, Apple factory workers versus Tim Cook. That's the reality.
What?
To
Yeah,
be
but
able
Tim
to
Cook
handle the
isn't-
mental fortitude, to be able to handle public criticism, like
I don't
not
believe
everybody
that.
can do that.
No, I
Do you think?
who's to say that? How do you know?
Because that's why, for example, I mean, let's even put it in the content world. That's why, for example, Mr. Beast gets that many like views because he makes videos that addresses like a total addressable market. Maybe versus someone who's like a niche creator that makes spearfishing
think he
videos.
got-
They can
okay,
only reach like
That's
a
a good.
certain.
That's a good pivot.
Huh?
Okay. Do you think he got lucky? But here you go. I have a question.
No,
you
I
think
do
Mr.
want to
Beast
stay
got
with this. Do
lucky?
you want to go to
Yeah,
the
go
Mr.
ahead,
Beast
go ahead.
stuff?
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah.
No,
Do you think
I
he
do
got
want
lucky?
to stay on this though because I feel like I feel like you hear me out here a little bit. Like that there is a different value.
Oh no, I do. No. It's related to this. I'm saying.
Okay.
So you say Mr. Beast has millions of views, right?
Mhm.
And nobody could be Mr. Beast.
Yeah, no one can
Right?
be Mr. Beast.
Do you believe that?
I do because just how no one can be you, no one can be me.
They
of course.
could. I got lucky.
How did you get lucky? I
There's-
mean, of course, there is luck associated with anything, with any sort of success.
There's plenty of kids who are more, I mean, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm 30, but there's plenty of people who are just as funny, maybe even look like me, more entertaining, more knowledgeable, more whatever than anything I am, that purely were born into a bad environment that did not conduce to them. I got lucky that when I was 16 or whatever, that, my family was doing well
Mhm.
and I got a computer for Christmas, but there's tons of kids who all they get for Christmas is like a better dinner, a cupcake, whatever.
I
there's
can't
tons
agree
of it.
more. I mean, for example,
So
I don't
that's
think
luck.
LeBron James is like, I don't think he's actually the best basketball player ever because there's probably been tons of people who maybe went down a wrong path or has certain life situations in which, they weren't able to accomplish that. There's been thousands of that across any sport, any endeavor. But then what's
Mhm.
the argument here then, right? Then you can say that for literally anything. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, even if we are to count those pool of people, that's still an infinitely small number of people than, let's say, someone who has picked up a basketball for the first time and has shot a couple hoops in their local middle school team.
Okay, but
To
we're
get
saying
to that
like,
upper echelon, like yes, of course luck is involved. Of course, for both of us to even obviously up to like Mr. Beast. But at the end of the day, there is also multitude of different factors that you do infinitely better than many people. Not many people, like as much as people like to shit on like streamers, can also entertain people for a long period of time. It's true. I'm not gonna shit on my own audience, but if they try to go here and try and like entertain people, they wouldn't be able to. So like what I'm trying to say is that yes, of course, luck is involved in any sort of success, but
Mhm.
There's also a lot of factors that did go in your favor, as well as things that are you worked hard on, are innately born
course.
with, that helped you get to where
100%.
you are, which is an infinitely
Luck-
smaller number than someone who might be just only
So-
watching YouTube.
You're right, but I guess I think you're missing what I'm saying, that like luck, it does not mean there's no hard work.
Yeah.
I improve. I have an analogy. I use this on
Sure.
stream all the time. Is luck is a lightning rod. I am somebody who sticks a lightning rod up, hoping to get struck, right, to become a creator, whatever, and I can make it taller and taller by streaming more hours, by watching other people, learning how to do it, by doing more research, whatever. I can make my lightning rod, but there's no guarantee it will ever strike me, right? And I get lucky. But that does not mean I'm deserving of it. It means I got lucky. I worked hard, but there's still, I have to get struck by lightning. And the idea is that maybe I have like other obligations. Maybe I have kids. Maybe my mom is alone and like sick, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's tons of poor people in the United States. There's tons of poor people all over the world who can never put the rod any higher because they have to sacrifice their other hand, or whatever. They can never get struck by that thing. I understand that I'm incredibly privileged to have got here. It does not mean I didn't work hard to put my lightning rod up in the sky, but it does mean that there's tons of other people who are just as deserving, millions of people who are just as deserving, if not more deserving than I am.
I mean, yeah, I'm not doubting that there could have been many people in your position, but what I'm saying is that, that's an infinitely smaller number the higher you go up. Like to get to Mr. Beast level, like yes, maybe there could have also been someone who's a #1 YouTuber right now, but that number is infinitely smaller, and that's also why he's able to get up there. That's why he is a #1 YouTube, #1 right now, right?
I
Like
just think, yeah, but I also think he got lucky as a product of time. He was doing
I
like
don't
the giveaways.
yeah, I don't doubt that he got lucky. Of course, I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is to get up to his level, that's an infinitely smaller number of people, the higher echelons that you go. Because like I said, and I'll stand by this point, not everybody can be the CEO of Apple, but a lot more people can be the ones that are just building it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, money makes more money, right? As he got lucky and made all the money, he has all the money to keep growing his
yes,
money.
but that also means that he's proved himself over and over again too. And then, let's not just use him as a gift. Maybe he was born rich. Who knows? Yes, of course, in
Yeah.
that instance, someone who's born poor is gonna have to work infinitely harder. But also, are we gonna now then call the person who was a homeless drug addict in Skid Row, but then became a multimillionaire? He just got lucky. Yes, of course, like elements of luck is involved. But also,
Yeah.
he had to work infinitely harder than maybe people who had a better situation than him. Then at that point,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Compare luck?
Yeah, well, the idea would be to eliminate luck.
Yeah, but that's not possible
You're
because
right.
any
You're right.
sort of like
It's not
chance that
possible,
happens.
but I can
yeah,
reduce it, right? That's the point. If I can put us all at a baseline starting position, or at least advocate for it, because that's all I'm about is advocacy, right?
mhm.
I understand that my worldview is that of of optimism, and I get it. That's why, like, I argue. Like, why wouldn't you argue for people to be unionized? That gives them more power against their thing to fight for fairer wages, to fight for days off. I understand what I'm giving you the most utopian ideals, but like, let's break it down to practical, right?
Mhm.
The practical thing is why, like, again, would you tell people that they should be unionized? Your friends?
I don't really know much about unionization, to be honest with you.
Yeah, okay, but
Um,
okay, so like, okay, would you tell your friends, like, let's think of something, to argue for free healthcare, to go out and vote for it?
yeah, I'm for free healthcare. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then free college, would you do the same?
No.
Okay, but okay, why not? It benefits everyone.
Yeah, but then also, I guess also, I guess I'm also looking at it. If we're gonna like talk about practical examples, who's gonna pay for free
Mhm.
college? Whereas like free healthcare, there is actual like utility for
It
everyone.
pays for itself.
How so?
What are the roads you use? What are the business? How are the buildings built? Those are people with degrees. It pays for itself. It's called a public good, and these are essential things to ethics, even philosophy. Degrees people love to shit on are important to determine whether or not what we're doing is ethical or right. It pays for itself. We all go to high school. What's the difference of improving that to be able to put up a building, to build the internet, to build spaceships, to build cars that are safer? That is public good.
So
Like,
yeah,
just like water.
yeah, I don't
So,
disagree, right? I mean, I'm
yeah.
also kind of looking at it like a modern sense. I think college is becoming less relevant every day, just because you are able to learn so much on the internet. But yes, I think if let's say we eliminate the internet, all these kind of different factors, I don't disagree with you. But it's just, yeah, sorry, go on.
The internet's not like an in-person teacher, right? Like, we understand that there's like a really good practical skill of going to college. Like, of like sitting, like when I went to college, because I went later, I treated it like a job. I made all my classes 8 hours a day. I'm not saying you have to, by the way. I'm just saying everyone should have the option
Sure.
because it's gate kept right now. Like, there's a capital barrier. Like, there's money required. Like,
Yeah.
man, another stupid
I
example
guess
that I
I
use
guess
all the time.
also like thing to like remember too is like if we're gonna talk about free college, we can look at like
Mhm.
countries who do that right now. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's also gonna become a lot more restrictive. You do realize that too, right? Like
No.
because only not everybody can go to the same college, or like ultimately it's also going to create stack rankings in terms of like these free colleges. Let's say in this like world every college is like
Mhm.
free, certain like the better the school is, the more resources it's going to go. So in this instance it's going to still recreate the same system, but maybe now people can, you know, a lot more maybe people can go with it, but this doesn't mean that the quality of education is going to be directly
There's
related
stack
to that.
rankings but there's already stack rankings in America in capitalism.
Yeah,
So
well,
like,
in anything,
what difference?
not just capitalism, anything.
Yeah, but my point is like it already exists. Why not just make it free at least? There's
Okay,
already
but
stack rankings.
sure. I mean, but I guess who's gonna pay for it too, right? So then let's
Yeah,
say that like
I mean, like I said, it's like water, right? Like you shouldn't matter who's gonna pay for it because it helps like
yeah,
you don't go, who's gonna pay for it when the fire department shows up to put the fire out on your house.
yeah. I guess like what I'm also trying to say is that like you said, like you agree with me. There's gonna be stack rankings, right, of these free colleges.
Yeah, but we could eliminate that by,
But how's that gonna be
regulation.
eliminated? Because now the best students do you want them to be learning in the same pace as the stupidest motherfuckers in the country?
No, we have a way, right? There's grades, there's ways, we have individual
So
assessment.
there you go. There's gonna be stack rankings because someone who's
But
like
that doesn't mean they have
extremely
to go to a
smart,
different
they
school.
huh?
We could easily eliminate that by creating like a program within every school, right? Universally, having a universal system that yes, you might end up at a school that you are way too smart for, right? But you will just progress faster through it.
But you won't be able to because environment matters, right? And honestly, the biggest value of college isn't the curriculum. Because, for example, what they're teaching at Harvard, it oftentimes isn't that much infinitely better than, let's say, if you go to a community college, right? It's more
Okay.
so the network. That's what you're really
You're right.
paying for. That's why there's
That's
an Ivy
currently.
League. It's more so
Yeah,
the
that's why I'm
network.
looking to eliminate
And
that.
then if you're going to eliminate the value of the network, then why would anyone go to college? Why do you think an Ivy League
What do you mean?
exists?
To actually learn, right? Like you
Of
said, we're making
course.
college actually
But you're
beneficial.
learning more so because of the environment. That's the value that you get. The most like important thing that you get from going to Harvard isn't the piece of diploma. It's more so the
Yeah, you're right.
email and the
Oh, okay.
database that you
I
get to the alumni
okay.
network.
Okay. I get what you're saying. You're saying that there's value in like when I went to college, like there's tons of people that go to just be in a frat or whatever, to
Mhm.
the social aspect or whatever, the network, to get contacted with, Boeing or whoever when they graduate to get a job, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm saying we get rid of that shit. Like you should go to college to learn. Like
But
that's
that
what the
is
point.
the most like important thing you can learn is how to network, how to get around the right
But that's
people.
irrelevant in a world that I want, right? Like you will just be if you want to pursue your dreams, you can because your dreams are purely limited by how much work you want to put in, how much hard work. Because when you go home, there's no threat of going homeless, starving, or missing, a doctor's appointment.
So then what would be also the incentive if you can get paid the same? So let me get this straight. Do you think like
You
a
don't get paid the same.
Okay. They don't get so
That's not how that works.
you don't want people who get paid. Okay. Just want to
Yeah,
make
do you know
sure.
what labor theory of value is? Labor theory of value is your work is determined by how much output there is in profit. You're mixing up equity and equality.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to understand this and clarify this.
Yeah, yeah.
Because in your example, the factory of the pencils, you said that
I
someone
believe in a true meritocracy.
Huh?
I believe in what's called a true meritocracy.
Okay, so wait, let me get this straight. You said that in that pencil
Yeah.
factory, the guy who produces 200 pencils should get paid the same as 100 pencils. Did I understand that right or no?
No. If the person who makes 200 pencils, right? They should get paid for 200 pencils worth of value, right? They'll get their share of the profits for how much profit they generated. And then they'll split it. And the guy who made 100 will have a guaranteed base, of course, because that's fair. He works, he's giving up his life, and other factors will be taken into account. Other laborers around him will be like, oh man, he's missing a finger. Like him getting 100 is like really good for missing a finger, whatever, We're humans, we empathize, we're social creatures. Whatever, it doesn't matter. He will get paid his value, right? We'll determine of things based on how much that is needed, right? How much is that needed to be out there? The only things that shouldn't apply to, because a pencil factory is a commodity, right? Let's say
Yeah.
something it's not essential, a luxury, but other things like gas, or let's say healthcare, these things would be determined by like obviously their necessity, right? We would come together as a society and vote and be like, doctors should be paid really well. We need doctors, otherwise we all die. And so like we're going to pay the doctors who have to go to school more, do whatever, more based purely on how much they're in demand. demand. Like supply and demand
So
works.
you
It's just
believe in
control.
capitalism. That's what I'm trying to like.
That's but capitalism is not supply and demand. I don't believe in private ownership. I'm against private property.
You don't think that people should be able to own anything? That the government should own everything?
But no, land and business, right? Those are different. I don't believe you can have a toothbrush, you can have a house. Those are personal property.
So you think all
Personal-
land and all businesses should be owned by the government?
1,000%.
What if the government, well, I guess like in your example, you're saying that everybody has equal power. So who would be the leadership? Like, would there be any leadership?
Whoever you vote in.
So
You
okay,
vote in
so,
your leadership.
so in that instance, is he going to have more power? Is he going to have certain rights that, let's say, you, a common folk, won't?
No, because we all have equal power to him. Does that make sense? His power is divided, actually. Does that make sense? If he does something wrong, we can easily get him out. Anybody can call for a referendum. Anybody can call for a lack of confidence. Right? These
So-
exist, by the way. This
Mhm.
existed in the USSR. People don't know that.
Yeah, how
This
well did that
existed.
go?
I mean, the USSR had a time of abundance where they were on pace to catch up to us.
I mean, what happened though?
Stalin went crazy because the American stabbed him in the back.
So in that instance, don't you think that maybe a crazy leader might be able to
course.
derail a lot of this? And that has
1,000%.
probably happened multiple times throughout history.
That is a risk, but here's the difference. That's a risk of democracy.
But why
Right?
hasn't
That's a
that
risk.
happened? Why hasn't that happened like as much as like communist countries, for example?
What do you mean? America has killed millions of people.
Without a doubt, Stalin has also individually has killed maybe even more than 6 million people.
I mean, that's the point, right? The point is like all nations do bad things.
Of course,
You're getting like
and that's why
yeah,
you need certain checks and balances and properly account for people's human nature. And I think socialism in the scale that I think you're talking about isn't realistic because it doesn't
But
account
it is.
for the fact that, like you admitted, every country has done bad shit, right? Every country has
But we
blood
do
in their hands.
socialism. But, I think okay. So you're misunderstanding. I'm not saying we'll ever have one leader. The point is like 100 people would vote. Extreme representation, over representation is what it would be called, right? We're not over representation is a bad term because there's already something assigned to that. But it would be essentially everyone has one power of a vote, and the person who becomes your representative is doing so out as an act of service and not a point of privilege, or whatever.
So
We would vote in a person who is now in a point of like service, like jury duty. And their whole job is to just relay the will of the people.
And
If they do anything above or whatever, and they don't get paid a lot or anything,
how
if
would
they-
they
we can
make the
easily
same
call-
as like, I guess, well,
as any other clerk job.
Hmm.
Yeah, as like a secretary.
so then I guess why
not?
would anyone want to do that job?
You don't. It's a point of service. It's
So
purely
then
to
who
help
would become a
effective
leader?
communication.
Then who would want to do that?
You get it in the mail,
Well, what do you mean?
like jury duty. Like you
oh,
get it
so
in the mail,
okay, I
like
see.
jury
So you
duty.
get kind of just brought up then.
Or what if it's random selected?
What if you're
right?
super
And you can vote for
demotivated
them.
and you're like, fuck this, since I'm just gonna get paid the same even if I do a shit job, I'm just gonna
But
fucking
your job is you don't have a job really. Your job is to purely just convey what your voters have said.
Okay, then he's
into a
like,
thing.
okay, fuck this. I'm not even gonna listen to my voters because I'm just gonna get paid the same. So I'm just gonna sit
And he gets
back
voted out.
and collect my check.
No, he can't. He'll get voted out.
Okay, so then he gets voted out. What if the next person is also like, bro, I don't want to do this fucking job? Like,
Yes.
what is
Okay,
gonna
but
be the
okay,
people's
so-
incentives? Do you see like then it's gonna be a constant sense of like turmoil?
Isn't that the cycle
like
we're in
like
now?
you even
though?
said in the example of the president, if he doesn't do, then he's just gonna constantly get voted out. How's there gonna
That's-
be any sense of consistency? How's there gonna be any
Isn't that-
sense of like systems
Okay.
being built? Do you see what I'm saying?
That's democracy.
How's
What's the alternative?
What do you mean?
Like what is the alternative to that system?
I guess like what I'm arguing for is more so the checks and balances.
Yeah, but there's checks and balances. I'm the checks and balances. You're the checks and balances to our representative. We ensure that he does nothing bad. Right?
Yeah, I guess like what I'm also talking about too is like I don't think in that world that you're talking about, no one's gonna want to assume a leadership position, right?
You're right. You
Because-
shouldn't want to. You should never give power to somebody who wants power.
Okay, I think maybe we're going on endless things here.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
it's
let's
okay,
go to
okay,
the
it's okay.
business part because I think you're a
Yeah, yeah.
business owner, right?
Yeah.
So you'd be totally fine with, let's say, giving your business to like the government. So now you're a
Mm-hmm.
state-sponsored streamer, In that,
Yep.
in this instance, let's say you have some opinions that goes against like the state agenda or whatever agenda that they have. In that instance, that very much happens. That's a reality. That's
Yep.
not something I kind of made up.
Yeah, of course.
You totally be fine with that. Because in this instance, it seems
If
like
so-
you
if-
have opinions.
if me giving up those freedoms helped to ensure that more people had housing, healthcare, and medical, 100%.
Hmm.
As long as those people have their life taken care of, because I don't value my freedom to say bad shit over somebody being able to, I don't know, just live a life of fulfillment, or at least more fulfillment.
Hmm.
Like I said, I may limit the ceiling for some people or whatever. But I also I'm going to improve the life of way more, because I believe, like I said, I'm just believe true democracy. I believe in improving I'm utilitarian, as many lives as I can. Right? And if me willing to sacrifice that one little freedom ensures that these people will have a better life, millions of people, than I would. If I had to give up streaming, but I could ensure, all of these things, of course, but I can't ensure that. I'm trying to use my platform to educate for that. But also, like, I'm somebody who, like, I love free speech. I think it's great. But there's an interesting quote in free speech in capitalism. Whoever has the most money speaks the loudest.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think in
So
the,
that is a
in the system
downside
that
of
you're
free
talking
speech.
about, only some will be able to have like an actual opinion. So in that
But
instance,
why?
is that really utilitarian?
Wait, what? Why would only some people? We're all equal.
Because you only have to talk about the state agenda. So it's only really one opinion that you're really purporting.
What is the state agenda in a democratic society?
I don't know.
We would call it the will of the people.
True, but that doesn't mean that it represents everyone, right?
Of course not. Yeah, you're right. But if we give more power to the one-off guy, that's how you lead to, like, fascism, right? If I give more power to somebody who is not the will of the people, that's how I lead to, like, Hitler. That lead to a totalitarian fascist state. It is democracy or fascism. There is no in between.
But isn't that what would happen if you just only are allowed to like speak the opinion that is state sponsored? I don't know if I
Yeah, of
understand
course.
you
But the
correctly.
free speech is like a weird thing. I'm just arguing from the socialist point, but in my
Sure.
own personal belief, I'm somebody who believes in, obviously, I want to find a way to make it work. That's why I'm a socialist too.
Do you think that's
Because
possible?
I believe that there is.
It seems like there's a
Yeah, I
direct
think-
contradiction in like the vision that you're painting and free speech exists.
Yeah, of course. Democratically, you sign in regulation or whatever saying that free speech is a human right.
How would you
And
define
that's all
free
you would
speech?
do.
I'm curious.
Free speech, I think, is anything that does not incite violence towards another person.
Hmm. So that's
Right,
hate speech
so
included in that?
Hate speech, I think, incites violence towards people.
But there's
So,
also
no.
ways in which you can just say some racist shit and doesn't incite
Of
violence.
course, but if you have to say it super esoterically and like that, you're diminishing the message and it makes it harder, right? I'm like Noam Chomsky's kind of view. Noam Chomsky was a free speech absolutist for a long time, but his view is similar to mine. I believe that like direct calls to violence or direct terms of legitimizing violence, right? So like calling someone the N-word. You're legitimizing a historical thing of violence, right? You're bringing up something that is even the government calls fighting words, right? The United States government calls that fighting words. You can hit somebody, right? Those are, I think, terms that incite violence, right? We understand that there's things, and that changes. As somebody with an English degree, right? Because my degree, I had to do a bunch of English shit. It's like you learn that language is descriptive. Those words might change meaning too, and it could change, and like government should reflect that. Government's kind of slow, but like, yeah, it should eventually, hopefully, change.
Why do you think government is slow?
Why is government slow?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of money in it.
Explain.
You're incentivized to keep making profits.
Government making profits? What do you mean?
Nancy Pelosi makes I think she invested like $10 million in Meta like the week before they banned TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's tons of money in government. So they incentivize to not get anything done because it's at a good point. They only give in when they absolutely have to.
So in
give
that
in.
instance, then what makes you think then having everything being run by government will be effective? When there are
Because
bad
government isn't
agents
given-
like Nancy Pelosi
How many-
who can like
You're right.
take advantage of loopholes, use
Mhm.
their own greed and essentially insider trading. I think we could both agree on that, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's
No,
ridiculous.
listen, when I say I'm big government, we should make one thing clear. I hate Democrats and Republicans
Mhm.
equally. because to me they're both liberal. Like some Republicans are, more traditional, but they're still a liberal. They believe in liberty, just their own liberty. And Democrats are the same. Like they both believe in something that I don't believe in at all. They both are, beholden to 4 corporations in a trench coat. Raytheon, Amazon, Google, whatever. I agree. We agree 100%. In my world, right? How many people does Nancy Pelosi represent? I actually have no idea. Probably millions.
Yeah.
That's the fault, right? And she's doing it because she wants to hold on to power. There should be a short-term limit. There should be, it should be one of those things when it's like I said, jury duty.
Yeah.
You select a bunch of people and we can all vote for them. They're randomly selected. Out of all those people, we'll find someone. Maybe it's 1,000 people we can vote for. And if in a socialist world, like I can take a day off to learn about them or whoever, or they can truly campaign and tell me or whatever, they can come knock on my door and get me to vote for them. And we whittle it down slowly until we have what's a central committee.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
So-
look, I don't disagree with you that there absolutely should be term limits. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to be a career politician.
Senators?
I completely agree with you on that. It's just I don't
Yeah.
think it's I don't think having like the time to be able to like take a day to like learn and all that isn't also going to be realistic too, right? Because if everyone can do that, then how would the economy even function?
Not everyone takes the same day off.
True, but in that instance, right? People should like I guess is there going to be like set calendars on when people get to take a day off, or like how's that going to work?
Or whenever they want. Not everyone's going to choose to take the same day off because who the fuck's going to want to go to the grocery store when it's packed because they know that's the day everyone takes off, right? Everyone can take. We do already do that. People have random holidays, or their work has a day off, or you have like a maintenance day or whatever. We overproduce. Like, here's why: our economy would be fine, and COVID proved that. Right?
Wait, what?
It did. Our world would not cease to function. COVID proved that. COVID proved that like we'll be fine if we stay home for even 2 weeks. It's not going to end. Things aren't going to come crashing down. Does the economy hurt? Yeah, but that's all fucking speculative stock prices. That's not people. We can make enough food. The shortages that we had from supply chains were a fault of single companies. Where if it was state run, we would have thousands of supply chains. There would never be.
No,
because
there
it
wouldn't
would be everything.
Why do you think North Korea is starving the population?
Because North Korea is a totalitarian, like individual thing. It's hyper focused. Fascism is not capitalism, or is not socialism. It's
But
capitalism.
it tends to go that way at times.
It can't though, because a real socialist. This is like, man, American.
So maybe that's the problem
schooling.
is that they're like how like has there ever been a real socialist country? No, right?
Yes, China is as close as good as you're gonna
But
get.
China is it's very capitalistic.
China has capitalist aspects. It is socialism with Chinese characteristics. Do you know who Richard Wolff is?
I don't.
Please, I watch a video on Richard Wolff.
Sure.
He's an economist, and he talks about China very, very a lot. China is unique. China has capitalist zones, which you're right, saved China in like the 70s and 80s because
To
Deng
this day.
Xiaoping sent,
To this day.
Yeah, but I'm saying, well, no, because it's restricted. Now they're more and more restricted. So Deng Xiaoping sent Xi Jinping being one of them, people to America and all over the world, Japan, wherever, to observe factory work in those countries and like farming, and then come back with their techniques, and then be like, hey, look, we'll do it cheaper. We'll do the exact way you make, phones. We'll do it in America, or I mean in China for America, and we got everyone reliant on them. And now everyone is reliant on China. Did they not play the game? We don't know they're socialist. They still, like you said, China has next to zero homelessness. They have like 91% home ownership rate. Their quality of life is the only one in the world that is or not quality of life. Their wealth income inequality is the only one in the world shrinking. Their billionaires are becoming closer to their middle. Everyone is shrinking. They're coming to equal more equality, right? Equality.
Yeah, I mean, I have
They're
to like
reaching
fact check that too. I'm not saying I don't believe you,
Yeah.
but
No, of course. Yeah, go ahead.
you should also
Go
look
ahead.
at
We do
the
this all the time.
Chinese like houses. Have you seen some of the houses that people stay in Hong Kong? It's like
Of course, but have you seen Appalachia, America? Like people live in shacks. I had my brother, or not my brother, my little brother. His dad had dirt floors in North Idaho in the woods.
So I guess like for you, like, I asked you like, what do you think is like the closest like near perfect kind of socialist run country? Is like kind of like the closest example to that right now is China. Is that for you?
Yeah, I think like there's characteristics from a bunch of them. Yeah, I think China's striving towards, but we live, remember, in a capitalist dominated world.
Mm.
That if you don't play the game, we'll bomb you, we'll insurgencies, we'll spy, we'll do whatever. Right? If you don't play along, we blow up your country.
Why
Install
do
a
you think
dictator.
the most of the world follows capitalism? In fact, probably all.
Well, because coming out of World War II, America was on top. We've suffered the least amount of casualties and ramped our manufacturing up out of the ass to become the richest country in the world.
But
All of
before
Europe
then,
was
was it
decimated.
socialist?
Before then, no. Before then, we had like a mix, right? Much more mix. People working towards. We didn't have as much industrial manufacturing as we did. Our ability to create scarcity, right, became a thing really after World War II. Before World War II, like scarcity was still like famines exist. America had a famine. Like we had the Dust Bowl, we had things like that. These still happened across the world. We didn't really have a post-scarcity world on lockdown, right? We really were
But
stronger
why
after
do you
World
think
War
people
I,
were able to
be
get
honest,
out of this post-scarce or the scarcity world?
because of technology.
And how is technology produced? Do you think socialist countries lead innovation?
I think it's tied. Yeah, I think almost
Tied?
any American thing, well, maybe more actually on socialist side.
Give me an example.
The internet.
That was from
The
America,
internet. Yeah, but who paid for it?
from a capitalist country, a capitalist economy.
Yes, but it wasn't paid for in a capitalist.
No,
it
yes,
wasn't
it
done
was
by a
publicly
private
funded,
company.
but that doesn't mean that it was.
So
You can't.
wait,
I don't
what do
think
you
that's a
mean?
fair example. Give me a country that you
Okay.
feel like socialist, like company, like how socialist companies. Do you think they lead innovation?
Okay, China's high-speed rail network.
Yeah, but that was also due to technology. Didn't private contractors also make that? For example, like
Private contractors
of-
in China are beholden to one thing.
a lot of for example, Brazilian like subways are essentially being built by Chinese private companies too.
What is? Sorry.
Like a lot of like Brazilian like subways, like in Sao Paulo, they're all being built by like
Yeah,
Chinese railways.
so in China, what are those companies, what are they beholden to? One thing in particular. They're beholden to the People's Republic of China,
Yeah.
right? If they don't play game, they get cut. They get axed. Look at Evergreen. Look at all these different companies. Look at what's his name? Fucking where's Jack Ma?
Yeah, the
right?
Alibaba guy. Yeah.
Jack Ma. Yeah. Like you got to play a game, so you got to do what's best for the people. China has that. They have a China first policy. The interesting thing about Xi Jinping is he writes a book every year or every 4 years, maybe. I don't remember. It's called The Governance of China, and it lays out their plans. It lays out everything they're doing and why, and anybody can read it. It's very interesting. And yeah, China is like, listen, China does bad shit. Listen, they treated the Uyghurs like shit. They're pushing the way that they treat Tibet, their scuffles with Nepal. Like these are all bad things, right? Like I don't disagree at all. I'm talking about economic organization though. In an economic organization, China does it. Also, the USSR.
So
If we're going to talk about socialist
So
here.
if you don't mind me, just so I can like kind of
Yeah.
rebuke a little bit of the China stuff.
Yeah.
Also, you do realize like a lot of Chinese innovation is based on copying, right? Like for example,
Yeah.
like in that
Yeah.
instance, how can we then say that they lead in innovation?
Because the things that they're copying were still done by social spending.
I don't think
Right?
that's
In America, all of our technological innovation, almost all of it
comes from the
was
military.
done at yes, but the military is publicly funded. It's not privately funded in America. That is socialism.
That doesn't make it socialist, I don't think, because at the end of the day, it's coming from a capitalist country.
Yes, but the point is in socialism, everyone would be funding that anyway. It wouldn't
Why
make
do
a
you
difference.
think there's
no
also
difference.
that much funding? Why do you think America leads the world in
Because,
the economy?
like I said,
Because of capitalism.
because we make well,
So
because
that's
we
why
make the Rolls Royce
if that
bombs.
capitalist system doesn't even exist, how do you think people are going to be able to even fund that?
Because the same way we fund anything. What do you mean? Why does the fire department show up?
Because of the money that the country makes.
You're right, but the fire department is funded because it's a
Because
public
of
good.
taxes, and taxes come from what? People, and people needed to be able to have like businesses and economy to be able to have that sort of money.
I think you think socialism means no markets, but
No,
people
I'm
will
not
make
saying
money. There's still value, right? There's still value.
I'm not saying that. I'm just addressing your point that you're calling like the innovation that comes from the country, which in many aspects, yes, does come from like the military to be like a socialist thing. But at the end of the day, that's all being funded by capitalism.
There was taxes before there was capitalism,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
right?
Okay.
There was.
Okay.
The king would tax you, right? And that was taxes if it always existed. There's nothing to say taxes won't exist after capitalism or socialism, right? you will still be taxed, right? If you make the pencil factory, make 200 pencils and you sell it for $200, the government's like, hey, we're going to take 30%. And that's called your ticket of participation in society. Unfortunately, you didn't sign up for it. You were born into it, but you reap the benefits. And unfortunately, the few downsides of it is too. That's just how things are. You can't, be unborn. I mean, I guess you can, but like, sure.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess
that's
okay.
the ticket to ride.
So maybe just to like make it fair, so you can agree to disagree to call, I guess, like the military and the innovation that comes from that. You can claim it to be socialist, whatever. But give me an example of a more socialist run country that has come up with more innovation than a capitalist country like the US. Why do you think the US leads in innovation in entrepreneurship?
Because entrepreneurship, because we have the most like least lax regulations on entrepreneurship, which I don't even think is true, by the way.
We're
Like
not,
you've been to
yeah.
Japan,
We're
right?
not. Like
Yeah.
Dubai, for
Yeah,
example.
Japan has so many like America talking about small business America. Such a fucking lie. Like go to Japan.
Yeah.
That's small business America.
Yeah.
I love Japan because of that. And when here you go. The socialist, the USSR dominated America in the space race. Like literally destroyed us. They had double our achievements. They made us look like we didn't know what we were doing. We just landed on the moon first.
So
They put the
that's
first person, the first animal. They orbited first. They put the first probe on the moon. They took the first sample. They did they just decided that it was not like it wasn't just economically like good, right? To put someone there. Like that's a fucking waste of money. We can just send a probe.
yeah.
And that's what they did. Sputnik, they have tons of
So you're
different,
just going to
they
use that
dominated.
example, like a country that has absolutely demolished themselves and like a
Yeah, of
period
course,
in,
but
in
the
that
now
history. And also just a little
no,
thing
it's
on Japan too, like it's also not the most entrepreneurship friendly country, trust me, especially like the high taxes. That's why a lot of the rich Japanese leave to go to Dubai. I think like what you're referring to is like the smaller like shops, especially when it comes to
yeah,
like
of
food,
course. Yeah,
without
yeah,
a doubt, right? But
yeah,
yeah, I think that's probably a different level of like business.
yeah.
But just a small note on that. But yeah, sorry. Where were we again?
So you said that the USSR
Oh yeah,
demolished themselves, right?
yeah. Why did it
But you
implode?
think
Or like, if it was so like
who would?
leading in like technology and
Okay,
innovation, I feel like it could have
they
continued.
weren't leading. I didn't say that. You asked who was competing, right? They were competing with the United
Well,
States,
no,
right? They were
okay. I
putting
did
up.
ask like, what is a socialist countries that has outperformed the U.S. or like any capitalist
Of
country when
course,
it
of
comes to
course. I don't think,
innovation?
but the U.S. once again, like I said, I'm going to credit anything that requires social spending because that's called social
Right.
spending, right?
I
That's what it's
think we
called, social
fundamentally
spending.
disagree on that, but that's why I wanted to
Yeah.
say like I want to hear an example of another country that's more socially ran, right? So then we can kind of like make this more of an argument.
Yeah, of course, but we can't because socialist countries get shut down by the United States. We had dominating power following World War One, and then even more World War Two, because we were untouched and we came out on top
Hmm. Why do you think the U.S. is also at like a level in which they can boss other countries up,
because we
whether it's
invented nuclear
more or
weapons.
not? Why?
Because we had nuclear weapons first. We got lucky. We had some geniuses, Oppenheimer, right? And Oppenheimer was a communist. He was a communist. And he regretted it from the day he did it because he realized now the America's just going to bully people around.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is what happened. After World War II, Europe was decimated, right? And they had to rely on American manufacturing. And then in the 70s and 80s, that switched, right? We have Jimmy Carter and then, we have Ronald Reagan, which literally destroyed our country. Well, slowly. We're in free fall now. But Jimmy Carter, really stagnation because all of our manufacturing started to go to China, Vietnam, Bangladesh, wherever, Thailand, right? That is a giant turning point in our history. Is when we, after World War II, essentially got to rebuild Japan, Korea, 50s Korea, and then all of Europe. They were all relying on us. We're the big dogs. The USSR is who won World War II, right? They're who marched into Berlin. They're who killed the most Nazis. They also took the biggest casualties, I think. They took I think they lost like an insane, I know 6 or 7 million Ukrainians died to Nazis. When you look up the Battle of Berlin, who's hanging the flag in Berlin? It's the Soviets, right? They won World War II, at least in Germany. And so they were decimated. We're the only ones on top. We got lucky. We did. We got lucky. No one invaded.
Of course.
There's no one. Mexico, they almost did, but the
Yeah,
Zimmerman
I
note,
mean,
but they didn't.
of course, I'm not denying the fact that yeah, like any luck is involved for history to unfold, right? You can say that
Yeah,
about anything, anything that's happened
of
today.
course.
Us talking, we can call that luck too, right? But then it becomes endless. I guess like what I'm trying to say is we got to look at more of like what is it that the system that supported that? What is it that allowed them to uniquely take advantage of that luck, which was perhaps presented to other countries as well, right? Like what allowed them to be able to be the benefactor of that luck that you would want to call it.
You're right. You're right. I would say it was like obviously like there's a ton of factors like immigration to America, whatever. America was growing at that time. All of these different things, but I think it's more important to look at what happened after we got the luck. Right? We got the lucky break after World War II, and then what did we? We didn't decide to do good. What did we decide to do? We decided to coup any country that would not listen to us. Any country that dared try a different system, we looked to do insurgencies. We put up an iron wall. We decided to bomb them. We killed their leaders. We installed leaders who liked America. And that's, what's funny is that's not even a thing that happened only after World War II. Before World War II, the United States military threatened to invade several Central American countries at the behest of banana or fruit companies
Yeah.
multiple times.
Very
Yeah.
true.
America has always just been like
Foreign
4 companies in a
intervention,
trench coat.
100%. I
Yeah,
completely agreed.
we're a pure capitalist. We are. I love to say this. We are a libertarian country from the moment we were born. Like we are somebody who wants unfettered capitalism or whatever. And that you're right. That does help you if you get the go ahead, the lead. Of course.
Well, that's
If I'm
what
in an empty
yeah.
room,
I mean, I guess like what I'm saying in this example is, do you see how that sort of policy also leads to more innovation and entrepreneurship, though, than let's say a system where the government controls everything? Do you see
no,
that
because
though?
I also
Like, how do
understand.
you
I don't.
you don't think
Because
you don't
look,
think that like let's say unfettered capitalism as you call it, how does that not
Mhm,
lead to more innovation and entrepreneurship? I'm not saying that's better or worse. I'm just saying that
mhm.
for certain values that a country has, it has to be able to optimize for certain things. China, because through its values, optimizes for
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
things versus the US, right?
of
Like
course.
what I'm trying to
But
say
what do
is
they
that
optimize towards?
capitalism more so rewards entrepreneurship and innovation versus a
No,
social it doesn't versus a socialist
no.
company where high taxes can also stifle a lot of innovation and being able to build a business. That's why it's a lot harder to be able to build a business in Europe. That's why at the end of the day, more people are still coming in the US for business
Mhm.
opportunities than leaving it.
Yeah, but America is the American dream is a lie.
To a certain extent, yes, but still to
But
this
by a
day,
huge extent.
it is still the best country when it comes to economic opportunities.
That's not true.
Where else?
27th. We're 27th. I think Latvia is above us.
You think Latvia is a
Estonia.
better business opportunity?
No, no, we're talking about economic mobility, right? Social mobility.
Yeah. Oh,
The American dream, right?
yeah. Oh, so
I
I
think
think
there's
like in that instance, when you say social mobility, that's probably like more so measuring like the ability for people to close the gap or like go up like another income level. Of course, in
Yep.
America, there's a lot of wealth inequality, so that makes it a lot harder of a jump to do so. But when it comes to like economic opportunity, why do you think illegal immigrants are coming into
Mhm.
the country, literally risking their lives, and why aren't they going to Latvia per se?
Right. Well, first of all, because we destabilized their country and we're the nearest superpower, right? So of course, what are they going to do? Swim across the ocean? I don't think so, right? We're the
Sure,
close.
but
They can
what
come
I
up.
meant is like
And
the neighboring countries there.
I
Why
get what
don't
you're
they go to
saying, right?
Latvia? Yeah.
Because a huge reason for that is America's propaganda is the strongest in the
I
world.
agree. We're
We
the
have
best
Hollywood.
marketers in the world, without a doubt.
E- Exactly. Because they've been sold a lie.
Ye-
That's why.
Yes, I mean, dude, I don't disagree, right? Like I don't
Yeah.
disagree that America's biggest
Also, a
export is
ton are going to
culture.
Paris as well, and the UK and Ireland. Tons
I'm sorry, what do you say?
of refugees, like Paris,
Oh,
the
right.
UK,
Yes,
Ireland are also experiencing large amounts of immigration too.
true.
So it's just mainly Latin American migrants that come to America because we're the
Well,
closest
Chinese
superpower,
migrants now
along with
too, but
marketing.
yeah.
And what?
Chinese migrants are actually even
Yeah,
going
but the
to
Chinese migrants is like 1%, and most of those people who are coming from like, Hong Kong, which is like a very unique thing in China. It's like self-governance kind of.
well, no, actually a
And
lot
a
of them
lot
are
of
coming from rural China.
or yeah, or I was about to say, or coming from parts of China that have been like, unfortunately cast to the side because of other, big issues that China is going through. But China still, once again, I still don't think China's immune to American propaganda.
Sure.
No one is. Rambo, you know, fucking Top
Sure.
Gun, all these things that make
Like,
America look
look,
awesome.
I think we're actually on the same page here. That like
Yeah.
America are great marketers. We're very very good at that. But I think it's also, you know, at the end of the day, there is a reason why people do go to America versus other countries, though. Like, yes, like marketing can only take you also so far, right?
Yeah, you're right. And the
At the
other
end
one is
of the day,
proximity.
if they're sending like what is it called, remittances, right? Like that's
Mhm.
also a big driving factor of why people would go to America because of the higher salaries, different things like that. So like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
there's a tangible reason why people come and also continue to come as well.
Well, yeah, but I still
It's
think
not
like
just
we're
marketing. I think
discounting.
that's a disingenuous to say because there's
Of
obviously
course, no, that's not
tangible
what I'm saying either.
opportunities.
Yeah, of course. I'm not discrediting that. Like I said, we're 27. There's 200 countries in the world. That puts us pretty high. That's a big thing, right? There is economic, you know, opportunity here. But if you look up, like I said, economic mobility or social mobility in the United States, we rank like below 27 other countries, some of which we would consider developing in Europe, like the armpit of Europe. Like we literally, if for every hour you work in America, you would go further working in some country in Europe. Like you would get more for your work in much
That's not
other
true.
countries.
That is not true. Especially in
But it
like
is.
in the UK, you can get taxed 40%. The salaries also are way
You-
way lower too.
Okay, but in America, you're taxed what? Right? Well, I can
Well,
tell
it
you
depends on
because we're
income
both.
bracket.
Yeah, but we're both self-employed, right? Let's say us, right? The average American, let's say, I don't know if you make the same I do, but I make like literally average American salary, maybe less actually.
Mhm.
And I get taxed about 30% overall, right? Plus sales tax, all that. Now let's factor in how much percentage of my income is going towards healthcare. How much of my percentage of income is now going towards increased car insurance because I have to pay for the medical bills if somebody gets hurt. How much of my income is going towards a larger, you know, car payment or whatever because we have car-centric infrastructure. Our effective tax rate, or I don't know what the proper name is for it, but that's what I, you know, our tax rate in America, necessities, healthcare, whatever, make us actually pay more of our income on necessities than any other country in the world.
Yeah, like yeah, so like you're saying like it's higher cost of living, of course.
1,000%.
But what I'm trying to tell you too though is like so you're saying proportionally Europeans have to spend less on like necessities, right? Is that or they're
Yeah, of course.
to live.
Their food may be a little bit higher, right? But they don't have to have a car. They don't have to do, you know, they don't have to pay for health insurance, which is a giant percent. That like,
Mhm.
if that was a tax for us, let's just imagine without doing single payer healthcare, it'd be like 14%, you know, or more for a lot of people. On top of already, we'd be taxed at 50% of our income if we just transferred it right over. Like we would be the highest tax rate in the world
Mhm.
for low income or, you know, just above, you know, poverty income line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, look, I don't disagree that like America has high standard of living, right? Like I think a lot of people know that, but
But
it's
no, it's
also
not high standard, high cost.
high cost,
Yeah.
high cost. Sorry, high cost
Yeah.
of living.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's also quite contingent on also where you are as well, right? Like,
Oh, no, because there's no public health care in America.
true,
Right.
true.
And that's the biggest one. Right? That's the biggest cost that other countries are subsidizing by paying because you pay in Australia,
And I think
they pay the same
yeah.
exact
And I think I can also
tax
agree
rate
with
as
you
that.
in the fact that like also food quality is very bad, and that leads to also like a lot more, you know, healthcare costs. That's why America spends the most on healthcare. So, but I think that's like a pretty separate debate.
Yeah.
But dude, I really enjoyed this. I actually really like debating. I know. I think when we were talking, you're saying that you don't like to
Yeah, we were
debate.
gonna debate, but it's no, listen,
It's fun.
you know what? I always next time let's talk about like the philosophy of why we believe things.
Sure,
Because that's way more fun to me of like knowing how you got to these ideas.
for
Like what
sure.
like for me, what made me a socialist, you know, is interesting. Like I don't like, yeah, I'm a socialist already. I don't think I'm ever gonna change your mind, right?
Right.
But I want to hear why, you know, what deviated. Have you always thought this way, you know?
Yeah. No, dude. I
sure.
appreciate. I mean, I'm always. I
Yeah.
love. I love. Yeah, I just love like intellectually stimulating conversation. So hopefully, like
If you ever need a leftist perspective, hit me up, you know?
yeah, no, that's always important because I think obviously like probably my audience is a little bit more center right, and I think I've been
Yeah.
always like I need to get more perspectives from like the left. So I don't want to
Yeah.
make this an echo chamber. That's not my goal. And
Same here.
that's also
That's why I had this conversation.
Yeah, that's why this was a fun conversation, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chad enjoyed it as well. I don't know if your chat. I don't know
Okay.
what your chat's been
Yeah.
saying about me, but
Again, why don't you just okay? Listen, hear me out, dog.
Yeah.
You need to just stream on Twitch.
why? Oh, I have, but it's just all my audience is on YouTube. So
What I would do is multi-stream and then just put your link on like your screen
uh-huh.
on YouTube and get people to come to your Twitch because Twitch chat is just 1,000 times better, dog.
Hmm.
It's just so much. It's like YouTube chat is abysmal. Like it's so hard to read. It's just not. It doesn't look good. Also, get a second monitor.
Yeah, I guess so. How do you stream multiple platforms at once? I guess we could take that offline, but
No, you just Google. I can help you right now. Who cares? It's
Okay.
online. There's a thing called multi-stream, and it's just a plugin for. Do you use OBS?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just OBS, and you stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time.
Okay.
I would just try to funnel, like, even in one of your videos, put your Twitch thing, because Twitch is also going to pay you way better for subs and shit on, that platform.
Mm.
If you can get
I
people
thought
to your
Twitch
Twitch,
takes
it's way
like
better. Plus, like,
50%.
no, not for me.
Oh well, you're
I
like
got
a
the-
partner or whatever, right?
Yeah, I'm partner plus, but you can get there. You have a big YouTube following.
Yeah.
You're way bigger on YouTube than I am. My first video ever just got, or my first big video was last week. I got 300,000.
Mm.
I had a bunch of Mormons in my fucking emails right now. I made a video about the
I think
Mormon
I saw that
church.
get recommended. Yeah. But yeah, guys,
Yeah.
chat, you guys should check out that video. I think I saw a little bit of it. I haven't been able to finish it at all or anything, but I might
It's
check it
okay.
out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
guys, check. You want to plug your YouTube or something?
No, it's just Carter. People find me. If you
Okay.
type Mormon Carter, it pops up because I just made that big video.
Mormon
Yeah,
Carter.
but I'm not Mormon. I grew up around him. But yeah, I was literally right before you called. I was about to tell a stream about this insane email I got from a Mormon guy.
I'm curious on what
So-
your stream chat thought about me. Whether they think I'm
They thought you were not. Listen, most of the time my chat is fucking hostile. I'm gonna be honest. These motherfuckers are, but they were super nice. They obviously they are
disagree,
like
of
similar to
course.
my beliefs.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't actually like. I'm scrolling. No, they're just literally. I don't see a single. Usually when people come on, they're like this guy, blah blah blah. Anyone has said anything bad. They were just giving me things that I should add that are like public. Things I forgot to add. They're more
Sure,
so being
sure.
like, "Yo, dumbass, how'd you not mention this?" So
Yeah.
actually, I told my
I
mods
wish
too.
I
I was
could
like,
say
if
the
anyone's a
same
dick,
about my chat to you.
No,
I'm
it's all
kidding,
good,
I'm
it's all
kidding.
it's all good. Listen, I know better than to read chat when I'm talking to somebody who has like a different audience than me because I have a rule in my stream too. Like my community is a lot different than like maybe other political people you meet and like Twitch especially.
Yeah.
Is you're not allowed to talk bad about anybody.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 12 years,
Uh,
so I made that a rule early on.
I was kidding too. Like honestly, like my chat like is actually very very smart. Like they are able to see both sides. I think that's why they like to watch me. But of course, you're gonna get some people
Yeah.
that are like L Carter. But I'm sure I got that too on your stream. So
You didn't, I promise. They
Oh.
got banned.
all right,
Yeah, but it's okay. No, I'm used to it, so it's
cool.
all right. Hey, listen, we'll talk again for sure.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, have a good night.
we'll talk soon. Peace.
Yeah, later.
Chat, what did you think? Chat, what the fuck? Hold on. W again? Hold on. One sec. Can you guys see me? Nope. Okay, hold on. There I am. All right. That was fun. What do you guys think? Obviously, I haven't. Wow, I've been streaming for a while. Shit. One sec. Good discussion. You guys have fun? That Megamind was spitting facts. I mean, I gotta use my big ass forehead for some utility, right? Or else it's just hollow. You made a good debate. Yeah, guys, I guess that was the first time you guys saw me debate. I mean, that's the first time I ever did any debating, I guess, publicly. But I actually really like it, man. I mean, what's the good thing about me talking to like both sides is that I know like what both sides would say. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys have any like feedback? Do you think I could have like done anything better? It was circular. That's also kind of why I was like, all right, we clearly disagree, and like we clearly don't want to concede our points. Gen actually was so good at debating. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Ryan, you're my biggest op and you're saying that. So appreciate that. You were perfect. All right, guys, get off my dick. Yeah, what else? What else? You guys always go off points. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of the debate, especially if you don't have like a moderator where like, you know, you're always foaming at the mouth to say your point and all that. But I think that was like as respectful as like debates can get. Yeah, I know. I think that's the thing is like it kind of came back to like, you know, and he admitted it himself. It was like, and he was like essentially, you should have questioned him a bit more. Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, I think it was also just like, I think he had good idea, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't grounded in reality, in my view, right? Is that it was a lot of it was like centered around, hey, this is my ideal state, or like, this is what it can be. But I think the biggest thing for me is that it ignores human realities, human nature, right? And I think that was like the biggest point that I wanted to make is that if it ignores those fundamental truths, then like, what are we arguing here? If there's no like solid examples of it working before, isn't the definition of insanity continuing to use the same systems and things that don't work? That's kind of like what I wanted to drive home, and hopefully that at least like came through. Hey, again, came from Carter's. Love the combo. Hope you do well. Thanks, man. Churro Poppy. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming to our chat and saying what's up. Take a look at our videos, right? Maybe this might like may have presented like I'm just like this gun-ho, only love America. No, I have my own criticism of America. I have my own criticism of capitalism. But yeah, clearly I have my own opinions about whether if I had to choose between capitalism or socialism, always going to pick capitalism, right? So it's really interesting watching the debate. Was kind of surprised when I clicked on LOL. No, okay, cool. You guys like the debate? Should I you know, I love debating. Like, you guys asked me like or he asked me too, what was like my inspiration for here from Carter's stream? Did he send you guys or what's up? You know, he asked me like, how do I got started on YouTube? And I told him like, you know, one of the reasons is I liked also talking about this in my you know, in my life, like with friends. But I also really like debating with friends too. Part of the reasons, for example, why I made that religion video was because I was having a lot of debates with like my friends. Whenever we would go and barbecue and hang out together, he would talk about Christianity, and I would try and poke holes at his arguments and applying like Christian values to like how you want to run like a country or different things like this, right? And that's what spurned it. So I really like debates because it forces me to consider the other side. Whether I agree with it, which I'm always fine in admitting, I'm not gonna, you know, sometimes I'm probably gonna let my ego take over, or like I can even come up with better arguments to counteract whatever they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I find a lot of like fun in debates is that it's intellectually stimulating. So you're very smart. You already know, my guy. You already know. You already know. That should be obvious by now. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Ego. Stop glazing. See, you guys have to call me out on my Mega Mind forehead, or else my head gets too big. Fuck. You can tell again, it's smart by the size of his forehead. There it is. Uses just one side mad, make fun of the other, but you actually listen and care. Yeah, because I want to know where he's coming from too. Dude, if I had a bank account, I'll give you $500. Damn, bro, you sound like a socialist. Making over promises. Yeah, bro, if I had this system where I could be a manager and not get paid and get paid the same as someone below me, yeah, man, but I'll still act the exact same, guys. I'll do it because of you, you know. All right. I'm just being an asshole at this point. He's smart but didn't get the looks. That's fine. As a guy, I'd much rather be like known for intelligence than like my looks. There's nothing more useless than a guy that looks good but doesn't have, you know, personality or utility as like a man. So I know you're just like fucking around, but it's just something I wanted to say. If you mind me asking, when would you go live again? Yeah, you guys keep bumping up the numbers. I think we've had at least a consistent 50 people during the stream. That's not bad, right? I don't think many people even know that I stream, so. Carter recommended a ritual. He's a good debate titled Capitalism vs. Socialism, a Soho Forum debate with steelman arguments from both sides. Okay, cool. I can check that out. That's interesting. 2 days ago was more. That's true. Been here the whole time. Hey, type of one in the chat if you've been here since like the very, very beginning. Like of this stream. One. Damn. All right. That's also encouraging. That's actually more important than like the total number of people. If I'm able to like retain your guys' like attention, then that means like, why can't I do that for 1,000 other people? Yeah, guys. By the way, am I doing it like? This isn't like an ego thing. I'm purely looking for feedback. I'm trying to like improve on this craft that is streaming. More debates. Okay, you guys like more debates. You should try to clip this debate. Someone, hey, any clippers in here? Anybody who does short form? You can create an account just using my name on TikTok and start clipping these things. That absolutely helps with driving traffic. Multi-streaming. Yeah, I can start multi-streaming. Why not? Why not? You should have community debates where you're a moderator. Yes, that is the case. Yes, guys. Anybody who is a clipper, short form editor, do so. Let's blow this shit up, guys. If I'm able to at least retain 50 people's attention, I think that's encouraging. That's very encouraging. I'm saying this from someone who's this editor for a debate channel. It's very overwhelming if you're starting out. Well, I have experience though. I've moderated Jubilee debates. This is what I do in terms of like my videos. So I think it might be different. And guys, I've also been canceled from the Brazilian media. I think I can handle some fucking loser YouTube comments. Man's gonna start using the Andrew Tate formula. No, that's just the streamer format at this point. But that was fun, man. It's really refreshing being able to kind of just like turn on a fucking camera and then like speak to you guys. Whereas like with a video, I mean, look, Justin in the chat knows it takes a lot of time, man. Even if it's editing a short, it takes time to be able to like put together a story. Like so much work goes into it. So don't call chat losers forehead, man. All right, I'm gonna head out. Hope you read my comment. I'll split up into 3 parts up there in the live chat because of limitations. Enjoy. Have fun, guys. Well, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. I really, really appreciate it. I think I'm gonna end it here too. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours. What the fuck? Oh my god, it's 10:30. Fuck. Damn, I was supposed to meet up with some friends. I completely forgot. It's been 3.5 hours. Debate was over 2 hours? What the fuck? Have you tried reaching out and clout farming big debate political streamers? I can do that. I guess I should do that. I guess I need a clout farm. Love you, forehead man. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. Dude, Mushroom started watching at 2 a.m. It's almost 6. Yo, thank you, Mushrooms. W in the chat. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna head out. Give a W if you guys fucked with the stream. If you guys want me to stream more, let people know. Give it a like. Give it a comment. I think do the whole algorithm stuff. I think that just helps in like continuing to pushing it out to my 400K subscribers. I think it's all about consistency. I think if I keep going with this, I think it'll reach more people. So do so. Like and comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, call me W4. Yeah, if you stay for the whole point, if you stay for the whole debate, comment W forehead man. I'll let you do that. I won't delete the comments. All right, chat. Well, thank you so much. Have a good day. Peace.